The Jaguars are taking Travis Hunter with the number 2 pick. Trevor Lawrence, you're on the clock. That's a big time move. If you're going to make a big swing, they got a new GM out there in Duval. If you're going to make a big swing, that's how you jump up and that's how you make an impact. Right away, Travis Hunter at the 2 spot. So we see Cam Ward go number 1 overall to the Titans. Now we have Travis Hunter number 2. Now, does the draft really begin? Number 3 with the New York Football Giants, who seemingly have Abdel Carter in their waist. So this is right here, the mock draft that I was going off of. Oh, let me switch up the look here. So this is the mock draft I've been kind of going over and analyzing, and I used this on today's pod. And it had Cam Ward going 1 to the Titans. It had Travis Hunter going 2, but to the Browns, not to the Jags, who jump up. And now we got Abdul Carter at 3. Will he be the choice for the Giants? Or will the Giants shock us all and draft a black quarterback? Is that going to be the move? I don't think so. But, it is the Giants. They could shock us. They claim to have a new regime. We shall see. But right now, with Cam Ward going 1 to the Titans, that was chalk. Jags make the move, jump up, and go get Travis Hunter. A lot of things to take into account. I like this move a lot. Trevor Lawrence is officially on the clock. You like the weapons that they're, again, Trevor Lawrence was thought to be a savior QB. He has not proven to be that. You need to give him weapons. You give him a weapon in Travis Hunter, who, albeit not a number 1 wide receiver, I firmly believe at his peak, at his ceiling, he could be a number 2, or if you want to ease him in, let him be a number 3, a slot receiver. And then on defense, he could be your number 1 corner. Or worst case scenario, he could be your number 2 corner. So you're getting 2 players for the price of 1. This is something that I've been speaking about for a minute is I can't believe a league like the NFL, the National Checkdown League, could have a player where you can get double the value for 1 contract and that player does not go number 1 overall. I can't believe the league was actually trying to figure out what to do with Travis Hunter. You're getting 2 players for the price of 1. And there were some teams that were actually saying, well, no, we only want him as a DB, or we're only interested in him as a receiver. That is not the National Checkdown League that I have grown up with. Like, I don't know what type of nonsense they were trying to get off. I don't know if that was a smoke screen by some of these teams, but the National Checkdown League, they want you for the cheap. You can't get no cheaper than I can play multiple positions and I'm only signing 1 contract. So Travis Hunter, we'll see what the Jags do. Is he going to be a real dual threat? Are the Jags going to let him try to be a 2-way player at this level? Or do they only view him as a DB? Do they only view him as a wide receiver? A lot to break down when that happens. Salute to Travis Hunter. Prime got 1. When will he have his 2nd? All right. Trying to keep up with all of this. Tweets are going to be fast and furious. We got all the windows up. We're checking all the windows. Jordan Schultz is a guy that's tapped in. Let's see. Trades are just starting, according to Jordan Schultz. Trades are just starting. Let's see what's Schefter's move here. At 34 years old, Jacksonville's James Gladstone is the NFL's youngest GM, and in his first draft day trade, he has come out swinging. Okay, talk about it. Okay, here we go. Schefter with the T, instantaneous T. Jaguars are expected to play their first-round draft pick Travis Hunter on offense and defense. There's our answer. They will onboard him by giving him a heavy dose of the wide receiver position while still playing him at his more natural position on defense. 2 positions for pick number 2. I don't understand why there was ever a doubt that a team in the National Checkdown League would want to maximize and get 1 contract and get 2 players out of it. This is the National Checkdown League. TJ up in here. What's good, TJ? Yeah, man. Big trade. Big trade. Big trade. Big trade, bro. Big trade. Did Cleveland win this trade by getting another first next year? You have to say yes, right? And again, leveraging those multiple picks, right? What can the Browns do? What can the Browns do now? Are they going to go QB? Are they going to try to spin the block? Are they in the Jackson Dart mix? Who do they take at 5? You have to start kind of like now you have to play the board. Assuming the Giants go with Abdul Carter, you're now 2 picks away if you're the Browns. And by most mock drafts, the 5th pick, you're looking at Genty. You're looking at, depending on what the Patriots do, you could be looking at Will Campbell. You could be looking at Membu. What do you do if you're the Browns and you're sitting there at that 5 spot now on the big board? Huge, huge trade. I love it. I love the fact that if you're the Jaguars and you identify Travis Hunter as the number 1 player on the board, which most people did, they valued Travis Hunter as the best overall prospect in this draft. To be able to move up and be able to go get him, and yes, mortgage some of your future, which you're going to have to do to jump up 3 spots, especially to the number 2 spot, especially in a draft where everyone's saying it's really top heavy with just 3 primetime guys. If you want to get into that mix and get one of those 3 primetime guys, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. Salute to the homie Patrick for pulling up. Jaguars needed a real star too. And that's something that I think is ultimately under the radar. Travis Hunter has star appeal. This is a guy who's going to move jerseys. If you don't think that Travis Hunter jersey ain't going to go up in Duval, you bugging. That Travis Hunter jersey is going to go off. It's going to go off in Jacksonville. He's box office. You're going to have a dude that's going to play both sides of the ball. He could go out there and get you 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns and then go lock up the other team's best wide receiver. That's box office. Gotta love it. All right, let's see. Have the Giants done what we think they're going to do? Have they taken Abdul Carter? Is the GM's son going to be right? Yes, it has happened. The Giants have selected Abdul Carter. Okay, so everything has gone chalk. Cam Ward 1, Travis Hunter 2, but to the Jags, not to the Browns. And now we got the Giants getting Abdul Carter at 3. Oh, what's up? Okay. What's good, T? I didn't know that was you, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, Abdul Carter's up in here. He is with the G-men. It was never a chance that Shador was going to be the pick. It was never going to happen. If you know the Giants like I know the Giants, I worked for the Giants flagship radio station for like 5 years. I did some of the Giants games, some of the Giants radio broadcasts. I can tell you the Giants were never going to draft Shador Sanders. It was never going to happen. And it didn't. They take Abdul Carter. You could make a case that the Giants stood pat and arguably got the best player in the draft. They didn't have to trade up. They watched the board, and Abdul Carter fell to them. Someone that I was arguing should have went number 1 because the Titans have piss poor defensive pass rate and pass rush success from last season. They were 22nd and 29th overall in both those categories. As much as they needed a quarterback, as much as you could say, well, they tried it with Mariota, they tried it with Will Levis, now they're going to try it again with Cam Ward. In my mind, I'm like, none of those guys were franchise QBs. Mariota, even though, he was supposed to be the guy, none of us who really knew ball thought that Marcus Mariota was truly a franchise QB. Will Levis, a disastrous pick. That regime's not even there anymore. Now they try again by taking a QB. Like I said on the podcast earlier today, extending that job security by going out there and taking a QB. Okay, now we wait on the Patriots. Patriots at one time, there was some belief that they might get Travis Hunter falling into their laps if Shedeur would have went early. Like if Shedeur would have went 3 to the Giants, then you could have had a scenario, assuming that the Browns took Abdul Carter, that the Patriots could have stood there and watched Travis Hunter fall into their laps, and they could have been able to pair Travis Hunter and your man's Gonzalez on the other side in the secondary, and then go give Drake May a guy, a weapon in Travis Hunter on offense. Didn't happen, though. Patriots are on the clock. Let's see what they do. So here's some good analysis, and this is why we watch Warren Sharp on draft night, right? Jaguars pass defense last year. They were 32nd in EPA, 32nd in explosive pass defense, and 32nd in YPA. 32 means you were dead last, okay? So you were dead last, and now you're bringing in the best corner in this draft. I know some people like Will Johnson, but I'm going Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter comes in now and shores up or helps shore up that Jags pass defense. And oh, by the way, he can be a weapon for Trevor Lawrence. Patriots are on the clock. Will there be another trade? Because right now, if you're looking at the board, if you're really looking at a big board, a true big board, right? You're looking at Genty now, Mason Graham, Will Campbell, Membu. Like, there's some players here. There's some moving and shaking that can get going here. If you're the Patriots, you got to exhaust all this time. Unless you're really locked in on who you want at 4. I don't think that's the case. I think they're trying to amass as many picks as possible. Vrabel is rebuilding that thing. Patriots have made their pick. We're waiting on it. The Browns are now on the clock at 5. There's your man's Abdul Carter. Patriots pick is in. We're waiting on that. Patriots go O-lineman Will Campbell from LSU. First tackle off the board. More protection for Drake May. Not a weapon, but protection for your man's Drake May. So now we go to this big board. Travis Hunter's gone. Abdul Carter is gone. Now we got Will Campbell gone. Now the Browns are on the clock. What do you do if you're the Browns now? The Browns have a chance here to really go out here and shake it up again. Do they trade back again and get more picks? That roster is really talent bereft. Okay? So this is the Will Campbell to the Patriots. That's accurate. Abdul Carter to the Giants. That's accurate. Cam Ward to the Titans. That's accurate. Travis Hunter did go 2, but he went to the Browns. Browns now at 5. Nick Chubb coming off the ACL did not, or was an Achilles, doesn't really matter. Either way, he's coming off a horrific injury. Did not look like himself. We know how running backs' lifespan is in this league. Do you go Genty at 5 if you're the Browns? You're able to scoop up a bunch of picks and get the top running back in this draft to put in your backfield. Do you do that? Or do you go, I could see, if you're the Browns, again, I really love the idea of Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett as bookends. If you can find a way, I mean, I'm not as high on Jalen Walker, but Jalen Walker at 5, that could be interesting. Or do you go Membu? T, you thinking any more crazy trades? I mean, Jordan Schultz said there will be more trades. So Jordan Schultz said there will be more trades. Travis Hunter to the 4-Letter Network. They put me on the phone with both coordinators. That man is a two-way player. Let's get it. I have been saying off rip that I wanted to see him at least try it. I had a lot of people telling me, nah, man, he got to pick one. I'm like, why? Why does he need to pick one when you have shown at Jackson State and at Colorado that you're nice at both? Why do you have to choose? They put him on the phone with both coordinators. I love that move just for the fact that the Jags are buying in that we're going to let you do both. Trades are just starting, as you see from Jordan Schultz 15 minutes ago. Trades are just starting. Will Campbell to the Patriots at 4. That's where we're at right now. Switch up the look here. So, if we're going to try to take this even further, right, we're trying to figure out what the Browns are going to do. You trade back from 2. Browns go D-line Mason Graham. So, baby Aaron Donald next to Myles Garrett. The Eagles have started something. Mason Graham, baby Aaron Donald next to Myles Garrett. That is how you move. You could have stayed at 2. You could have taken Abdul Carter there. You could have taken Travis Hunter there. You slide back 3 spots, and then you go get the best interior defensive lineman in this draft in Mason Graham to put him next to Myles Garrett. I like that a lot. On paper, I like that a lot. Myles Garrett has to be very, very happy with that move. They got him some help. As much as people keep claiming, well, you got nasty, man. You had to bring back Flacco, Chubb off an injury. Your number 1 is Jerry Jeudy. The Browns know the franchise player is on that D-line. Give Myles Garrett some help, damn it. Whether it was going to be Abdul Carter, if they would have stayed at 2, they would have flipped, get some extra collateral, go get the best interior defensive lineman in this draft and put him next to your franchise player. That should be every team's goal in this draft, at least the first round. You need to surround your franchise player with the help. So each team needs to identify who is their franchise player. And some of these teams are actually trying to draft their franchise player. Clearly, the Titans have decided Cam Ward is a franchise player, so they took him number 1 overall. The Browns know that Myles Garrett is their franchise player. We need to make his life easier. How do you do that? You could have stayed at 2 and gotten Abdul Carter. Instead, you decide to move down, get some extra draft collateral because that roster is bereft, and you go get Mason Graham, interior lineman out of Michigan. Baby Aaron Donald. Patrick in the house. Everyone was so used to not having a first round that teams don't even want them. Hey, bruh, first round picks, because we had so many busts back in the day, but I think the science of drafting has gotten a lot better. That's something that for me, watching the analysis improve, watching people actually have to study film and break it down, we've gotten a lot better draft analysis over the years. I would say over the last decade or so, where we've gotten a lot better analysis than way back in the day. Way back in the day, it was truly a crapshoot. You had no idea who some of these dudes are. You had no idea if they were nice or not. And it was really a 50-50 proposition whether that person would actually be on the roster in 5 years. Now you're getting first round picks that actually matter. You're getting first round picks that have been actually being put in the systems. Back in the day, you would get so many players out that were being drafted by the wrong team, with the wrong fit, wrong scheme, wrong system. You're seeing teams actually lean away from that and finding players that fit their actual system, their actual scheme, their actual plan of attack. And I think that's why we've seen way fewer busts in the first round than in years past, or at least that's my POV. If y'all feel different, feel free to let me know. Okay, so now we have the Raiders at 6. They got Membu sitting there. They got Genty sitting there. What are the Las Vegas Raiders and Tom Brady going to do at 6? This was thought to be a potential spot for Shedeur. What's going to be the move? If you're Shedeur, what are you thinking right now? If Tom Brady hits you up, remember, Tom Brady gave Shador an NIL deal. This could be all smoke and mirrors. We might take Membo, we might go Genty. Meanwhile, there goes Shador in the silver and black. And then you know who the coach gonna be soon, right? Not too far in the near distant future, who the coach gonna be, right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We'll see. This is great. I love the first round. There's so much that can happen. There's so many deals that get done. There's so many deals that get offered, and then you find out later were turned away or rejected, or we were close to making a deal, and then it never happens. Like, I love this type of shit right here. This to me is my bag. Give me something like this happening in live reaction and deal in real time. I'll dissect the hell out of it. All right, what does our man's Warren Sharp got on? All right, he's got nothing on the last couple of picks. Okay, all right. Schefter, what's Schefter got? What's Schefter doing? Okay, so if you look at what the Patriots have done to help out Drake May, we just talked about it, right? Oh, that's going to cut it off. Okay. The projected Patriots offensive line in front of Drake May. Will Campbell now slides in. Bradbury was an offseason signing. Cole Strange is solid. Owenwu and Moses. Like, this is a pretty formidable offensive line. On paper, we got to see how they're gelling, all of that stuff. But in terms of what they've been able to do, in terms of improving that front line, a really solid job. And he brought in Mike Vrabel. We know what happened with Jared Mayo. I don't know why that happened, but I mean, we know why that happened. But I'm just saying, he put something in place. They're moving forward with Vrabel this year to continue what Jared Mayo helped institute last season. And the Patriots are looking formidable, at least on paper. In that division, you're going to have to figure something out, right? Because in that division, you're going to have to deal with Josh Allen. In the races, you have to find a way to beat the Bills. Schefter saying Carolina has been fielding calls about trading the number 8 pick. Trading for the 8 pick. Who do they think? Who's sliding that people want? No one's sliding yet, unless it's Genty. If the Raiders don't go Genty, the Jets are not taking them at 7. If you're the Panthers at 8, do you take Genty? Chuba Hubbard did have a great season last year. Do you go Genty at 8? Or do you stick with going defense like in this mock draft? Oh, let me switch it off so y'all can see that. My bad. Do you go Jalen Walker? Do you stick at 8 and take an edge guy like Jalen Walker? Or if Genty slides, and it's crazy that we have a running back in this era that we're considering sliding because he hasn't gone in the top 5 or 6, depending on what the Raiders do. But if the Panthers are fielding calls at 8, to me, that means Genty. Somebody wants Genty. We shall see. Raiders are still on the clock. Oh, we got some different news here. Nope, that's old news. What are we doing? Oh, tweets are disappearing. Okay, tweets are disappearing. We'll get that figured out. The Elon app is really trash. Raiders took Genty. Genty off the board. And allegedly the Bears, according to Ari here, or Ari, depending on how he pronounces it, the Bears were in pursuit of Genty. Eagles GM done gave out the blueprint. Yeah, they'll invest in the trenches. Invest in the trenches or pick players from top-tier universities. If they didn't play for Georgia, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's either Georgia or fortify the trenches. Lately, he's been able to get off both. Nolan Smith, Davis, Jalen Carter. I mean, come on. This first round got teams actually thinking. And I love that. I love when sports teams are actually being smart and not just, being emotional. Like the Browns could have been emotional and took a QB at 2. They could have reacted to, man, y'all don't got no QB. You got nasty, man. You had to bring back Joe Flacco. Just go take a QB. Find a way to take a QB. You know, like, nah. Not only are we not going to take a QB, we're not even going to take the dude that y'all think we should take at 2. We're going to slide back, get some more picks, and go get baby Aaron Donald and pair him next to Myles Garrett. With the Raiders taking Genty at 6, does that mean whoever is calling the Panthers at 8, does that change anything? Because now, if you're the Jets, you got to look at Membu here, right? I know Tyler Warren is a sexy name, but if you're the Jets and you just ran off Aaron Rodgers because you could not protect him, in part, I mean, he's washed too, but he also was running for his life behind a very porous offensive line. If we're looking at what the Jets have available, they have Membu. They could even go Kelvin Banks. Whoever they like between Membu and Banks, they could get him at 7. They could go Tyler Warren and just give Justin Fields a weapon. I think I go Membu here if I'm the Jets. I don't think Tyler Warren, because the Jets have a pretty solid tight end that I actually think was pretty solid last year, a youngin'. His name escapes me. I don't know if I'm going Tyler Warren at 7. Going back and watching film on Tyler Warren, you're not getting a lot of yak. That was something even me and some of the homies at the gig, I think T might even have been there. We watched Tyler Warren tape, and we were like, man, he ain't breaking out one tackle, dog. Like, this man is straight north and south. Like, he ain't shimmying. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to take an elevated Jason Witten, are you going to take that at number 7? Are you going to take that at number 7? I can't do it. I wouldn't do it if I'm the Jets. Let's see if the Jets did it. No pick yet for the Jets. They're still on the clock. What's up with Jordan's page? His page get fixed or his page is still on some bullshit? All right, his page is cleaned up a little bit now. Okay. So Pete Carroll and Geno Smith get a running back in Ashton Genty. So just one season ago, they had the league's leading rusher in Josh Jacobs. They didn't want to pay him. They let him walk. Now they go out and get Ashton Genty to replace and be their bell cow back. Oh, Scrub Zero in the house. Scrub Zero, what's good, brother? What's good? You know me, man, just sitting here talking my shit, getting these takes off. I certainly wasn't expecting the Browns and Jags to make a deal. Yeah, man, that got this draft night started. We knew what the Titans were gonna do, even though I still feel like they could have shook things up and taken Abdul Carter at 1. But they stick and take the QB, and then the Jags jumped out there and said, no, we want Trav. We want Trav. We want that box office down there in Duval. We're going to make it happen. Shook things up. I love it. Everything else has been chalk. Your Giants went out there and got Abdul Carter. Give me your thoughts on that. You arguably got certainly the best edge rusher in this draft, potentially the best defensive lineman in this draft, depending on what happens with baby Aaron Donald. But tell me how you feel as a Giants fan. You knew damn well they weren't going to go out there and jump out the window and take Shador. So give me your thoughts. Abdul Carter is a Giant. Okay, there is a trade. Okay. Oh, no, that's not happening. Okay, all right, a lot of pages. The Elon app is struggling tonight. Elon app is struggling tonight. Not surprising. The Jets went and got Membu. That makes sense. The Jets went and took Membu. That makes sense. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, how salty are you? Oh, now you want to fortify the O-line. My old ass, fresh off that ayahuasca, was running for my life all last year. And now you're going to go get me an offensive line. Okay. I like it. Membu's to pick. It's been pretty chalk so far. Some pieces have moved in order. But in actuality, the only difference is Mason Graham, who at one point was in a lot of mock drafts in this top five. In this mock draft, he's number 9. But we got Mason Graham into the top 5, Membo down to 7, Genty at 6. It's going pretty chalk. The Panthers are on the clock at 8. We already got reports from Schefter that someone was calling, or multiple teams were calling the Panthers at 8. If that's the case, is that a Tyler Warren spot? Is that a Jalen Walker spot? If you're the Saints, what do? Will they do Shedeur at 9? Allegedly, they're off him. But what's that smoke? Love this. Love this type of shit. Love this type of night. So they're going to put Membu at right tackle, apparently. Right tackle. Again, Howie gave y'all the blueprint. I mean, he has been giving y'all the blueprint for years. It took this last Super Bowl for all of y'all to finally realize, and not all of you actually watching, all of y'all in terms of the National Checkdown League. It took the Eagles going out there and destroying the Chiefs in front of our eyes, dominating the line of scrimmage on both sides, for the league to realize, oh shit, maybe we should focus on the O-line and D-line. Maybe we shouldn't just let Howie Roseman continue to, if you're the Bears and you're sitting there at 9, trade back and get an extra 4th-round pick, allowing the Eagles to go get Jalen Carter for the low. The Bears gave away Jalen Carter for an extra 4th-round pick, and then he went out there and used the 10th pick on Darnell Wright, who is mid. Howie has been taking advantage of the league in plain sight. He's been hiding in plain sight, allowing other teams to play with their food, and he's out here getting Lombardis on the low. Now teams are paying attention. Will Campbell goes to the Patriots. Now we have Membu going to the Jets. We have a edge rusher and an interior D lineman go in the first 7 picks. The trenches are back. Love that shit. Scrub Zero. I'm not mad at it, but after it gets a disappointment, I'm more in wait and see mode. It's a good pick regardless. Oh yeah, I don't think you won't have to wait and see that long with Abdul Carter. You won't have to wait and see. I mean, obviously as an edge rusher, there's definitely a transition, right? He's not going to be able to beat everybody off the edge. He's not going to be able to bull rush everybody. He's going to actually develop some moves. And he does have some moves. If you watch the tape, the man's got some moves, right? But when he's going up against grown-ass men that are 30 years old and they're 6'7", 320, and they can bench 400, 500, you ain't bull rushing that. So he's going to have to learn, but I think there's a lot of comparisons to Michael Parsons, and TT could speak to this. He's going to flash early and often because he's too good not to. It's going to be the consistency. Pairing him on that line with Thibodeau and Burns. Like, he's got the perfect guy to learn under in Burns. Like, imagine that as bookends. Burns on one side and Abdul Carter on the other. Y'all should be getting home with 4 every snap. Y'all should be living in the other team's backfield. Scrub Zero. I really just wanted Hunter more than any other player. I mean, he's box office. He's the best player in the draft. He's the best player in the draft. So I get that. It almost happened. You had to beat the Jags. Here's the thing, Scrub Zero. Would you have traded up from 3 to 2? Would you have given up a future first just to move up one spot to go get Trav? I'm curious. Scrub Zero, the blueprint really never changed. Teams just got caught in the okie doke and focused away from the trenches. I mean, we had a time when people were throwing spread offenses out here, wildcat offenses out here. I mean, it comes in ebbs and flows. Back in the day in the 80s, if you're an 80s baby, to run and shoot. Like, there's always been a time where the running game, run the ball, stop the run, get home with 4 has been the old adage forever. Then you move off of that. You want to spread it out, open the offenses up, put points on the board, West Coast offense, all this type of shit. Then you get that. Then once that goes away, then you get back to the ground and pound. Then you get to the Emmitt Smith Cowboys that were smashing you in the mouth with Emmitt Smith 30 times a game. Then you get away from that. You want to open it up, and Chip Kelly comes in, and he wants to shift things up. And then the Dolphins come out with Ronnie Brown throwing touchdown passes. And then all of that, you get caught up in the whirlwind. Spread offense becomes a thing. You don't really need to run the ball. You can use the short passing game as your running game. And then that goes away. And now we are back, probably for the next 2 to 3 years, to where the trenches matter again. It's always about timing. Always about timing. All right, so the Panthers are on the clock. Did they make a move? Did they trade out? Let's go to Schefter and see what's the vibes. Let's go to Schefter. Okay. Minutes after drafting edge rusher Abdul Carter, Giants GM Joe Shane, I think it's Shane, right? Joe Sheen said that his team is picking up Kayvon Thibodeau's 5th-year contract option. So, a la the NASCAR line from years back, from when Eli Manning was fraudulently being put into the Hall of Fame because he got 2 Super Bowl victories, which was more spearheaded by the defense than the offense. The Giants are building a NASCAR-like front line. They're trying to run it back. All right, Jordan Schultz, let's see. Panthers at 8. Ooh, the Panthers are taking Tet. Panthers are taking the number 1 wide receiver on the board. Debate that with your mama. Tet McMillan to the Panthers. It's a big target, 6'4". So Bryce Young has a big target. Adam Thielen. They tried it with Leggett. Leggett is solid. I don't know if he'll ever pan out to be anything more than what he is currently. Still young, but haven't seen too much so far. You bring Tet into that wide receiver room, you're giving Bryce Young some weapons. I like this move. They stay at 8. They don't trade back. Now, here's the real question. Could they have traded back and still gotten Tet? Because according to this, Tet was going to be there at 12, allegedly. Tet was going to be there at 12. Now the Saints are on the clock. Do the Saints go edge rusher? Do they trade back? Do they stick? Do they go Shador? Tet, I don't know if Tet's a reach. But it's a very interesting choice that they stayed at 8 and took Tet. I don't think I saw many mock drafts that had Tet going in the top 10. They had him in this 11 to 15 range in most mock drafts. So the Panthers could have made our first reach of the night. Let me know what y'all think. Scrub Zero. Now, I wouldn't give up Future first because the Giants still have too many weaknesses that need fixing. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So you wouldn't have given up a Future first to move up one spot to get Trav. All right, that's fair. I respect that. Patrick, Panthers probably wanted to trade down. I'm surprised they didn't trade down, Patrick. I'm really surprised, bro. I'm really surprised they didn't trade down. Because I think they could have gotten Tet. I mean, unless it was somebody like in the mid to high teens. Like, I probably wouldn't have traded too far past the Cowboys. Because let's see, you would assume, right? If you're the Panthers and you have to play this out. Now, this is always a guessing game, right? If you're the Panthers, you have to assume the Saints are not going to take a receiver. The Bears, with all the investment they've had in DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, you would think they would not take another wide receiver. 11, it gets a little dicey. Would Shanahan and John Lynch, would they have agreed, especially with moving off of, they got Debo up out of there. Or was it Ayuk? Which one did they get rid of? I'm blanking on that right now. Brain fart. But 49ers could have been something for Tet. I don't know if he fits their system. I don't know if he fits their system. But Tet could have been a possibility. Who was calling the Panthers? Will we find that out? Who was calling the Panthers? Panthers finna be solid. McMillan. Oh, yeah, they do have Coker. Oh, man, Thielen. Legette's looking solid. Yeah, Legette, to me, I expected more from Legette. I ain't going to hold you. But the potential's there, clearly. And Bryce Young will have a chance. The offensive line got better later in the year when he regained his starting job. Running back position, you're assuming you're going to get the same thing from Chuba Hubbard. Now you're fortifying the weapons around him. Let's see if Bryce Young can cook up. Scrub Zero, teams are looking to move down. Not too many really looking to move up. Yeah, so I guess a lot of teams just going to have to stand pat. So have your board ready, have your big board ready, and go and take who you want. Go and take who you want. That's why you got to have your board ready. Okay, Jordan Schultz giving T. The Jets had 2 45-minute Zooms with Membu. Okay. Doing the work, putting in the work. Let's see what Schefter is talking about. Broncos have field. Nope, that's old. What's going on with this Elon now? Goddamn, Elon. Okay, 21 seconds. Oh, come on. Your man Schefter is late, boy. Your man Schefter is late. Well, let's look at this offensive line now in front of Justin Fields. You got your man's Olu, who they got last year. So they got their bookend tackles. Olu last year, Membu this year. Vera Tucker is solid. Tipman, Simpson, solid. It's a solid offensive line. It's not a great offensive line, but again, you're talking about a division where the Bills are formidable on their defensive line. The Patriots do a lot of creative things, especially now with Vrabel there from that Belichick tree with their defensive line. You're going to need in Miami, I mean, if they could ever figure it out. I mean, they got Bradley Chubb, but not much more besides that. You need to have an offensive line. This offensive line, if you're going to have Justin Fields is notorious for holding on to the ball way too damn long. If that's going to be the case, you need an offensive line that can hold up. You need an offensive line that's going to give him 4 to 5 seconds for him to do his reads, because it takes Justin Fields, sadly, that long to go through his progressions. So if you're going to do that, it makes sense, because you really need an offensive line to give Justin Fields a lot of time. So you really need a good offensive line to make that happen. And it is Debo. Thank you, Sub-Zero. Debo got bounced to the Commandos. Ayuk is still there right now. Copy that. All right, let's see. What are the Saints going to do at 9? Are they going to go QB here with this? Nope. The Saints are taking offensive tackle / guard. Didn't hear that. Kelvin Banks at 9. That screws up the Bears. I can tell you that for a fact. Bears were hoping Banks would slide to them at 10. That is not the case. If you're the Bears, what the hell are you doing? Are you going edge rusher with Jalen Walker? Do you go Tyler Warren to do a little double tight end set with Cole Kmet? If you are the Bears, what do? You know you need a lineman. 3 offensive tackles have gone off the board in the first 9 picks. The trenches are back. That is the theme tonight. The trenches are back. The Bears, Ryan Poles got to be sick. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at DB. If you go Will Johnson here, I'm not mad. If I'm the Bears, I'd probably try to trade back, though. I ain't going to hold you. Because if we're looking at what's here, I'm not that big of a fan of Loveland or Tyler Warren. I do think tight end should be an upgrade. Like the Bears should invest in the tight end position. I don't think Cole Kmet is dynamic enough. Maybe, Ben Johnson could figure something out. Maybe he could cook something up, scheme him open. But I am not the biggest Colt Kmet guy, so I would not be mad at an upgrade at tight end. Unfortunately, I just don't. I don't think Warren or Loveland are those types. To me, they're more aligned with what Cole Kmet is. They're being something more dynamic. Could be wrong though, but that's just me. What will the Bears do? Do they go edge rusher? Do you go McHale? Bring him off the edge? Ryan Poles has to be filled in calls. Has to. Has to be. He thought Banks was going to slide to him. Maybe he should have offered a 4th round pick to move up to the Saints at 9, like how Howie Roseman fleeced him. The trenches are back and the depth at OT in his draft is thin at the top. That's facts. So, again, if you're the Bears and you really wanted Kelvin Banks or at least a top-tier lineman, you should have tried to call the Saints and see what was good. Because the Saints now have taken offensive linemen in the first round. What's that stat? Last 3 years, I think we saw. Last is the 3rd straight draft where the Saints have taken linemen in the first round. Now they just need a quarterback. Now they just need a quarterback. Would the Bears throw a monkey wrench into things and draft the CB? I wouldn't be mad if it's Will Johnson. If it's Will Johnson, I'm not mad at that. Let's see what the big board for DBs. I'm not the biggest Jordan. I'm not that big on Barron. I'm more of a Will Johnson guy, to be quite honest with you. I think his size, being 6'2", I like that. As these receivers keep getting bigger and stronger and faster, especially if you look at the NFC North. I like Will Johnson, so if you're going DB, I would go Will Johnson. A lot of people have been trying to sell me on Barron. I didn't see anything on tape that made me feel like I would take him over Will Johnson, but we shall see. But I think at this point, if you're not going to trade down, if you're the Bears, I mean, you might as well just go ahead and take whoever you think is the best defensive player. I don't think there's an offensive player on this board that can really help Caleb Williams right now, unless you're going to reach and go Amarion Hampton. If you're going to reach and take Hampton, I'm willing to listen if you're going to reach. But I don't think you should do that. I think you could trade down and still get Amarion. So I'm trying to slide down if I'm the Bears. I'm trying to trade down. But nobody's sliding. Nobody who we thought was going to be top 10. All these guys except Tyler Warren and Jalen Walker to a certain degree, but the guys who have been drafted are guys we have all heard about. Maybe you could make an exception for Tet, because Tet, top 10, I didn't have that. And I didn't see many other mocks that did. But outside of that, no one has slid. The Bears go tight end. They go Loveland. Whew. Loveland and Cole Kmet. Ben Johnson's impact right there. Ben Johnson's impact right there. Colston Loveland at 10. Cole Kmet, I know you got a bag not that long ago. Your day's a number, my friend. Like, yes, they'll sell you on the double tight end sets and all that stuff, but no. Ben Johnson knows what he's doing. Colston Loveland, not Tyler Warren. I told you, Tyler Warren is, to me, Jason Witten reincarnated. Like there was not a lot of yak, man. Loveland at least can get you some yak. He's got some shiftiness. He still is in that Cole Kmet mold, but he's got some shiftiness to him. So I'm not mad at it. I really don't know if I would have did that at 10. But if you got Ben Johnson in the war room and you just handed him the keys with Ryan Poles being the mouthpiece, then you go do what you got to do, right? So Bears go lineman. Oh, the 49ers go quick. 49ers are taking Mikael Williams at 11. Okay. So Mikael Williams now, that was pretty much locked in. So we got that there. Tease, if he's still here, his Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. What does Dallas do? Tyler Warren? What better spot for a bootleg Jason Witten than to go to Dallas? What better spot? Let's see what Schefter's got. Schefter's tapped in on Dallas. Let's see what he's got. He don't got nothing. Okay. Rappaport. Rappaport's been quiet. What's up with Rappaport? Ah, here's some tea. Your man's Tet, who they're now calling T-Mac. We've been calling him Tet, but now they're calling him T-Mac. He's been throwing quietly with Bryce Young in LA. So the fix was already in. Your man's Tet was always going to go to the Panthers. The Panthers were going to reach, no matter what, at 8 and go get Tet. Hey, good for Bryce Young. Kyler Murray was begging for help. He got Paris Johnson a few years ago. He's got Marvin Harrison last year. Bryce Young, go out there and pick the guy that you want and force them. The Bears, Caleb Williams was very strongly in favor of Rome Odunze. So QBs are influencing draft decisions. Script Zero commits days are numbered. Yeah, I mean, they gave him a bag, so they can't flip him. I don't know who'll take that contract, but his days of being the number 1 tight end are definitely numbered. That's without a doubt. Script Zero, I don't mind if the Cowboys decline to make a pick. Yeah, man, that's pure NFC East rivalry right there. I think T might have slid up out of here, but I was trying to talk with T today. He wants linemen. T, ain't no lineman left, brother. Unless you reach. There's some D linemen. Get some edge rushers. Bookend with Micah. Assuming you re-up Micah. Tyler Warren would be interesting here. 49ers, I mean, look, that defensive line, there's been mass defections from San Francisco. Being able to fortify your line with the edge rusher. Now, again, Bosa, having Bosa on that line, MAGA Bosa, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. I don't know if I'm sold completely on Williams as an edge rusher, like translating right away. But I have firm belief that the 49ers will figure that out. And if worse comes to worse, you could put him at linebacker. Put him as a Will or a Sam. He's not a Mike, but you could put him as a Will or a Sam and make it happen that way. That is the flexibility with edge rushers. If they can't get pressure off the edge, then turn them into linebackers. Treat that shit like it's NCAA 25. Position change. Flip that. People are going crazy about the schedule release. We don't give two shits about that. Not until strength of schedule stuff has been analyzed anyway. At least I don't care about that. All right, so we're standing pat. Mikael Williams is the pick. No analysis yet. Let's see what Warren Sharp's up to. Can he give us some data? Give us some analytics to chew. Okay, lots of Bears fans hated this post. Wanted the Bears to take a running back. They went tight end to allow Ben Johnson to run his preferred 12 personnel, 2 tight end style. Yep, that's what. Yep. We be knowing shit over here. Just saying. We be knowing shit over here. Now here's where T Mac or Tet, the comparisons are getting a little crazy. A Mike Evans type receiver, just because the man is tall and light skinned, don't make a Mike Evans. Let's calm down. Mike Evans is a first ballot Hall of Fame wide receiver. Let's not put that type of pressure on Tet, okay? Let's not do that. Let's not do that, please. The man was just catching passes with Bryce Young on the humble, on the low. Let's not put him in Kane. Let's not put him in a yellow jacket already, a gold jacket already. Let's slow down. Dallas still on the clock. Jerry Jones promised to make some moves, which would be a first. We're going to see what's going to happen. All right. Appreciate y'all for pulling up, man. Let's see who we got on this big board. Big board is still out here. Let me pull up these scores, by the way, because there are basketball games tonight. Yeah, we'll just go to NBA.com. We'll keep it simple. Oh, Knicks tape. Knicks tape gonna get that dub. Knicks tape is up 10 heading into the fourth quarter. We're gonna do this real quick. Big night for Karl Anthony Towns has finally discovered his shooting stroke. He's got 25. OG with 22. Maybe Suni Lee decided to make the trip to Motown. Bridges and Brunson. Okay, so the Knicks are looking like themselves. Cade Cunningham is Cade having an off night. Yeah, 17, 8, and 6 for Cade, 7 of 18. Yeah, he's having an off night. 38, 39% from the floor. Yeah, that's not like Cade. Okay. All right. That's what's going on in the association. OKC, Memphis. Memphis looks to be laying down. Let's see if they have any fight when they get back to the crib. Maybe they can get a game, but after being blown up by 50, we shall see how they respond off of that. But okay, Knicks tape up 10 heading into the fourth quarter for those who want to know. All right, let's see what else we got here. Jordan Schultz. Cowboys on the clock. More analysis on the Colston Loveland draft pick by the Chicago Bears. At 6'6", 248 with legit speed, he just broke the Wolverines single season record with 56 catches. Big weapon for Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Loveland won over a lot of front offices throughout the pre-draft process. I mean, he looks the part. He certainly looks the part. 6'6", 248 with speed. Now, when we say legit speed, what are we talking about? Let's see what type of, what was his 40 time? Did he not run a 40? All right, let's see if we can find a 40 time for Colston Loveland. He ran a 4.7 at the combine. I mean, that's just straight ahead speed. I mean, maybe he's shifty. To me, he looks more shifty than like speed, but maybe he's deceptively fast, which could be perceived as racist, but it's not. In this case, it's not. Scrub Zero. I need them sorry Knicks to win tonight. I think they'll get it done. I mean, up 10 on the road. I mean, you know me. I would love for the Knicks to find a way to trick this off, but I think the Knicks will probably get this done tonight. If Cat shows up, it's going to be hard for the Pistons to get dubs. Tom Thibodeau finally realized, oh, I have more than one player who can score the ball. Funny how that works, Tom. Funny how the Knicks have done all this work and are mortgaging all those future draft picks to get you some players who can actually score the ball. Yet you keep trying to make it a ISO 1-on-5 offense with Jalen Brunson at the top of the key doing everything. Funny how that works. What are the Cowboys going to do at 12? Some tells me Jerry's going to do something crazy. Jerry using up all this clock. Or is the Elon app bugging out? Up, see, here's that contract. Cole Kmet has 3 years, $30 million remaining on his Bears deal. Though the early guarantee portion of the deal expires after 2025. So, let's do the math. That means that they could cut Cole Kmet after this upcoming season. Cole Kmet better play his ass off this year, boy. He better play his ass off in that 2 tight end system. Much like your mans from Baltimore, Monken with the 2 tight end sets. And they had Isaiah Likely, but Mark Andrews was the standout guy. And now Mark Andrews looks to be taking either less bread or a diminished role with Likely ascending to become the number 1. You have a similar type scenario in Chicago where Kmet has been the guy, definitely not as proficient as Mark Andrews, but in the sense of he's been the guy, but now they've drafted a new exciting guy to eventually become the guy. And now this is why I have Spot Track up, because he parses through the contracts and gives you the pertinent information. The pertinent information is that the guaranteed portion of this contract for Cole Kmet is expiring after this year. That means he is likely to be released or have the back end of that contract reworked. And even if he doesn't, that money ain't guaranteed anyway. So he's going to have to prove it. Meanwhile, Colston Loveland's deal, if you're interested, 4 years, $26.6 million with a $16 million sign-up bonus, fully guaranteed, with a 5th-year option in 2029. And just for some more contract stuff, the Giants said that they're going to pick up the 5th-year option for Kayvon Thibodeau, and that locks him in at 2 years, 2 more years, $19.7 million. So about 2 more years at $20 million. Fully guaranteed rookie contract. So he sees all 5 years of his rookie deal. Let's see what Dallas does. Still nothing for Dallas. Dallas might as well go ahead and trade back if they're going to take this damn long. Ooh, Cowboys go interior line. Tyler Booker out of Alabama is the pick. Cowboys go O-line. Interesting. Cowboys go O-line. That's what T wanted. That's what Terrence wanted. So now if you're starting to look at big boards here, damn. Big board was the third. Booker was the 30th prospect on the big board, but a mock draft, where was Booker? They had Booker going late first round to the Lions, which makes a lot of sense knowing Brad Holmes. Do we like this pick for Dallas? On paper, it makes sense. They definitely need help on both sides of the line. They go guard. Guards are not sexy. No one's excited. No fan is ever excited when their team drafts a guard. The only prospect is he good? Is he gonna open up holes? Pause. And if he's opening up holes, who the hell gonna be running through them? And that's why the Genty conversation was happening. I mean, Marion Hampton is still out there, Jerry. If you went out there and you got your guard, okay, helping the line, you kind of need a running back, Jerry. Find your way back into the first round, Jerry. Find your way. I like the fact that the Cowboys went all line. I mean, it's been long overdue. Cowboys take one of their favorite players with Tyler Burke at 12. After his visit, they were sold on him being a culture setting piece back to their roots. You talking about their roots of Jimmy Johnson? We talking about the roots then, the roots of 30 years ago? You talk about that. Okay. Okay. When he had Stepnotsky and obviously Larry Allen and good Lord. You want to go back that far? I mean, Jerry, that's something I would hope as they have made amends. Jimmy Johnson is in the ear of Jerry Jones just a little bit. Just a little bit. And telling him, like, yo, dogs, what are you doing? You know how we did it. We flipped Herschel Walker for a shit ton of picks, and we got weapons in the trenches. We got skill position players, and we built and fortified the trenches. What the hell are you doing? And this type of move makes me think if it's not Jimmy, it's somebody of that ilk in Jerry's ear. Because I don't think Jerry, on his own recognizance, is out here taking guards from Alabama at the 12th pick. I don't think he's doing that. All right. We're going to have to really figure this thing out in terms of here's where the draft kind of slows down, right? The sexy picks are done. We're outside the top 10. There's been no big slide. There's been no big reach unless you want to consider Tet or T-Mac. I'm not calling another man that's not Tracy McGrady T-Mac, but for tonight, I will let it get off. T-Mac out here at 8 to the Panthers. You could consider that a reach. Now we begin the Shador watch, to be quite honest with you, as we're at 13. Who's at 13? The Miami Dolphins. They're probably going Will Johnson there or some kind of corner because they're getting Jalen Ramsey about the paint. So if the Dolphins are getting Jalen Ramsey about the paint, they need another corner. So they're probably going corner there. You're looking at the Colts. I don't have any idea of what they would do there. You would think they want to get AR some help. But is that help in terms of on defense to help him out or giving him another weapon? I could see Tyler Warren to the Colts. That could be interesting to me. Scrub Zero Cowboy said we need to fix this O line proper. Yeah, I mean, look, you got to start somewhere. That O line's been so Swiss cheese. That O line was thought to be one of the best in the sport not that long ago, and it's been a steep decline ever since. I see they got fucking Mark Colombo is coaching in the UFL. And I'm like, God damn, weren't you just an anchor on the damn Cowboys line not that long ago? Scrub Zero, I've heard the sense is from picks 10 to 40, you're getting the same caliber of player. If so, we're going to see some varying positions of players coming up. Yeah, and that's kind of where you really just kind of have to trust your board, and your board has to be set on whether you're filling a need or you're taking best player available. I've always been the logic of I go need first. I go need first. Do I need this type of player? If the talent level isn't that varying, if the gap isn't that large, is this filling a need or is this giving me a surplus? In a cap sport like the NFL, even though there's tons of ways to exploit the cap and circumvent the cap, it's still a cap to a certain degree that you have to adhere to. There's ways around that. So for me, I'm taking the best player that fills a need and not just the best player on my board overall. Dolphins go defensive lineman Kenneth Grant at 12. That could be a reach. That could be a reach. I did not have him going in the first 15 picks. That is yeah, even here they have him going 23 to the Packers. Instead, he goes 13. I could have swore they were going to go corner. Will Johnson's still there. Did they not like him? They even could have went Barron. I'm not the biggest Barron guy, but wow. I mean, you tell Jalen Ramsey to go explore his trade value. I mean, I guess was interior. Even if you flip Jalen Ramsey, the need for interior line play was more vast than secondary help. Interesting. But again, the theme of tonight, the trenches are back. Another lineman off the board. We've had two defensive tackles, two edge rushers, three offensive tackles, and a guard, all within the first 13 picks. The trenches are back. Scripture, isn't Will Johnson coming off of an injury? Yes, but I don't give a damn. I don't think I don't think his injury is making me question what he can do at this level. To me, it's not a catastrophic injury. It's not an injury that to me makes me think he can't be a first round talent. I mean, to me, he's clearly he's sliding, right? For whatever reason. And even Barron, because even if you want to stay away from Johnson because of his injury history, you still got Barron there. And no one's taking Barron either. So Barron, the Dolphins could have took Barron as well. So even if you're off Will Johnson for him coming off an injury, you still have Barron there. They didn't take Barron either. So something, they weren't impressed, clearly. Let's see what we got here. That to me is a reach. Kenneth Grant, I think, could be very well. Could do he's good, right? Clearly. He's a first round talent. 12 though? That feels like the drop off after Grant was going to be so crazy that we couldn't risk letting Grant get by us at 12. That's what that sounds like to me. Is that the risk of having Grant move past them at 12 was to the point that we can't let that happen. We got to take him now. We can't trade down. because he's probably not going to be there. I tell you this: if you're the Steelers and you're trying to get Shador, the way this board is lining up, I don't think Shador is going in the first round. If it ain't the Steelers, I don't think Shador is going. Unless you trade back in to the bottom of the first round. Because let's play this out, right? Colts ain't doing it. Falcons ain't doing it. Cardinals ain't doing it. Bengals ain't doing it. Seattle. I don't see them doing it. Bucks. I don't think so. Broncos ain't doing it. And let's say the Steelers don't take Shador at 21, hoping they can spin the block, right? Chargers ain't doing it. Packers ain't doing it. Vikings ain't doing it. Texans ain't doing it. Rams ain't doing it. Ravens are not doing it. Lions ain't doing it. Washington ain't. There's no team after the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21 that will take a quarterback. However, a team could trade up with any of these teams to go get Shador. I don't know if that's happening, though. If you're the Browns, you have the first pick of the second round. Do you leverage that and maybe use one of those picks you got from Jacksonville earlier tonight to move back into the bottom of the first round to go get Shador if Shador gets past the Steelers at 21? Y'all know me. I like to talk this stuff out and play GM and figure this thing out. If you're the Steelers, do you roll the dice of, man, I don't want to have to give Shador a 5-year deal. If I could get him on second round money, I would prefer that. We'll roll the dice, not take him at 21. Hope nobody tries to spin the block at the bottom of the first round to go get him, and wheel and deal your way. Because right now they don't even have a second round pick. Oh shit, that changes things. Hold up. Do the Steelers, how many picks the Steelers got? Oh shit, they got no collateral, bro. Damn. They might have to take Shador at 21. They might not have a choice. They don't have a second round pick. They only have 6 picks this whole draft. Yeah, they might have to take Shador at 21. Damn, they have no flexibility. They have no flexibility whatsoever. Damn. I was trying to cook up some shit. I was trying to figure some shit out, boy. I was trying. They got no choice. Because I'm trying to think who would trade with them. Yeah, I don't see any. I mean, all right, here's a fun scenario. And Scrub Zero is still in here, I believe. Scrub Zero, you're at 34. If Shador is still there and your choice is Jackson Dart and Shador, clearly we know what Joe Sheen's son wants them to take. If you have a choice at 34 and it's Shador or Jackson Dart, who are you taking? A run-on trench players already. This is fun. Yeah, man. Howie Roastman. Thank you, Howie. I said it after the Super Bowl. Thank you, Howie. Because that will force teams to listen, and now they're listening. Are we sure the Rams wouldn't take a play for Shador if he falls? If you're McVay, I think McVay has an ego like Shanahan. I think McVay thinks he could turn any QB into, he took Jared Goff to a Super Bowl when Jared Goff was not the Jared Goff we know today. He took a trash Jared Goff to a Super Bowl. I don't know if McVay feels like he needs a first round QB. Uh oh, I'm seeing Shador in the chat. Did it happen? Did it happen? Okay. Colts get Tyler Warren. I think I called that. Colts take Tyler Warren. Okay, so AR has another weapon. But Patrick scared me. He put Shador in the chat, and I was like, wait, hold up. Did Shador go off the board? All right, let's see what Schefter's saying. Schefter got anything for us? Nah. Okay. Cool beans. Schefter's low key tonight. Maybe it's not his night tonight. All right. So let's get back to into what we were chopping up. Let me switch to view here. So I don't think McVay. I don't think to put this back up. I don't think McVay is doing it. I don't think so. I mean, it would shock me if he did it. It really would. And I think they need some more pieces on that defense. I just don't see Shador being a McVay guy. I don't see that. And I don't think the Steelers can wait if they're looking for Shador. Yeah, clearly they have no other. They don't have a second round pick. I was trying to talk my way into making something happen, but no, yeah, they have to take him. If they want him, it's 21 or nothing. Steelers either have to pick Shador at 21 or gamble with the QB in the third round. It may be too late by then. They to me, after reassessing all of this, it's Shador at 21 or nothing. No, no, all good, Patrick. I was like, whoa. I was like, that shut down the stream. Like, wait a minute, what's happening? No, all good. I still don't see the hype over Dart. He had a real chance 2 years ago. Yeah, see that's kind of the thing. Like, and I talked about this on the pod earlier today. It's like I understand the warts on Shador. To me, the warts are only about his ability to pass the ball deep. But for me, it's because the offensive lines were trash at Jackson State and Colorado. Shador did not have a lot of time to throw the ball deep. He was very good short, very good intermediate, but the deep ball to me is still a question mark for him. That's the biggest bugaboo. To me, that's the only bugaboo. I got no issues with him as a person. I have no issues with him in other aspects of his game. He's mobile enough. He's not a dual threat QB. I hope people don't think because he looks the way that he looks and because his father is who he is that they think he has the same type of athleticism like him. He does not. Okay? But he's mobile enough to compete in today's NFL. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of good things to like about Shador. If for whatever reason Shador slides out this first round and it's the top of the draft in round 2 tomorrow, and I'm the Browns, and I'm sitting there and I fortified my D line. Now I can go and potentially still get my future QB for less money. I would do that. Second round pick money for a QB is vastly different than first round. Vastly different. So if I could get that popping off, if I could get Shador for the low in the second round money, perfect. Jackson Dart, I was never a big Jackson Dart guy. I mean, if you're trying to crunch numbers, you can certainly talk yourself into it. Like numbers pop off the screen, right? You're talking about passing percentage. You're talking about Lane Kiffin's system. There's a lot of things you could talk about when it comes to Jackson Dart. You talk about the rating right here, the QB rating right here. You're talking about 132, 143, 162, 187, 180.7. That's ridiculously high. You're talking about someone that passed It's some of that ran. He's quasi mobile. Like he might be more of a dual threat than Shador, right? And talking about the passing numbers, someone that passed for almost 12,000 passing yards, and he played 4 years. Had that cup of coffee at SC, and then the last 3 years with Kiffin out there at Ole Miss. I mean, he's good. How good? If you're the Giants, if you're trying to sell yourself, I would much rather them do Jackson Dart at the top of the second round than what they were potentially looking at by overreaching and taking Shador at 3. Jackson Dart at 33 or 34, way better than Shador at 3. Script Zero, I think I would trade back up late into the first to draft Shador if I'm the Giants. Scrub Zero, you know damn well that man ain't gonna be no giant. That man ain't gonna be no giant. He doesn't look like a giant. Not at that position. The Hail Mary throw against Baylor sold me on Shador. Still my favorite throw from last year, pro and college. I mean, it was a hell of a throw. Shit, I would pull it up, but that would definitely get a copyright. It was a hell of a throw. I mean, it was the hailest of Hail Marys. And he had to scramble for that, too. That wasn't just a pure straight drop back. Honestly, after Shador, I'm not looking at QB until round 3 for any team. Oh, I think we'll have some QBs taken in the second round. Shouldn't. I agree. But regardless of what we think, this league, I mean, Cam Ward went number 1, bro. No shade to Cam Ward. I don't see him being the top player to take. The Falcons go edge rusher, Jalen Walker. So the Colts go Tyler Warren. Falcons at 15 go Jalen Walker. All right, now I'm supposed to hop on with the homie Greg Larnard on his stream. The Falcons address their D line. Let me see how we're going to do this. I'm still streaming. Let me see. I may have to come off. I'm not going to leave my stream. So let's see how we're going to figure this out. Let's see how we're going to figure this out. Let's see. He's got a streamer. I don't know if I could be on 2 streams at once. I might have to do this from the phone. Okay. Let's see how we're going to do this. I'll give it a few minutes. I'm really trying to stay on stream to get at least to 21 with Shador. If we get to 21 with Shador, then we'll evaluate if we finish out and do the whole first round or not. But I at least want to get through Shador. I might text Greg that. Give me until 21. Oh, I might be able to get Greg on my stream where we're texting right now. We'll see how that goes. I was supposed to go on Chat It Up Sports, but they're on location. They're doing a live remote because they're out there in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So they're going Cam Ward crazy right now. But I was supposed to pop up on their stream after the Falcons pick because there's a lot of Atlanta people in that Tennessee area, Chattanooga area. So they cover Titans and Falcons. But all right, so I'm probably gonna be able to get Greg, the homie Greg Larnard, on here. I'm gonna send him a link. Where are we at here? Who's on the clock? 16 Cardinals. Okay. Cardinals going defense. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if that offense. They got McBride, love him. They got Harrison. How long are you gonna do? I mean, well, they'd have a couple running backs. I was gonna say that James Conner thing could be a thing you might need to explore. What's that old line? Kyler Murray do be running for his life. They might need another lineman, but I don't know. I don't know where that lineman is going to come from. I don't know where that lineman is going to come from. The run on the trenches. Howie Roseman has turned this league upside down. Let me get the invite link. Where is that at? Copy invite link. Okay. All right. Let me see. Let me do this over here. All right. Let me come off this. Come off the screen here for a second. I got to send Greg Larner from Chatted Up Sports, formerly of ESPN Radio, a link for him to be able to pull up. So just bear with me for a second. We'll get back to the screen share and all that good stuff in a second. But the homie Greg said he could pull up, so let's see if we can get him up. Okay, save that note. And I'm going to share. And airdrop. That's crazy. I just need you to airdrop, bro. All right, let me see. Airdrop. Let me turn on the Wi-Fi. Maybe that'll get it going. All right, I may have to just type this in. All right, give me a second. Let me pull the screen back up then. If we're going to do all that, let me get back to the screen. All right, let me get back to this. And I'll get Greg up here. Greg will be with us in a couple of minutes. We'll get Greg up here. We'll talk some shit, as we always do. We used to chop it up every week on his ESPN radio show. It was a great time. Miss those times. It's funny how you miss things when they're gone. Like, you never know what you got till it's gone. It was always cool to chop it up with Greg. He's been a good friend of mine for a very long time. Let's see if we can get notes, the note app up, and then that would be even more beneficial. If I go to this screen, do you still see that? Nope. Okay, good. Oh, of course, they jank me with that. Okay. All right. Get off that. All right. Get off that. Give me a second, y'all. Technology. All right. Let me just type this link out to them. This is trash. I shouldn't have to do this, but Apple's on some bullshit. Uh, Studio. Okay. So many slashes, backslashes. Okay. I have sent that link to you. All right. Link has finally been sent. Let's see if we can get Greg up here and chop it up about these picks and see what the hell is going on. See what's going on with him. How was the live remote? What was the energy? What was the Cam Ward conversation like? Get into all of that stuff with Greg Leonard, hopefully in a few minutes here. All right. All right, that went through. Hopefully he'll be pulling up shortly. All right, let's see. Did we miss anything? Waiting on the Cardinals at 16 to make their pick. Cardinals at 16. Cardinals go D line, Walter Nolan. The trenches. Walter Nolan, Ole Miss. Will Johnson at 17 will be real nice to the Bengals. No DBs. Only Travis Hunter has been taken. So if you need secondary help, you're in luck. Barron and Will Johnson, I wouldn't call it a slide per se, but them still being on the board at 17, very interesting. If you need a linebacker, Jihad Campbell, still there. Omarion Hampton, we're getting into that territory. Is it a foregone conclusion that Omarion's going to be taken by the Denver Broncos? Everyone seems to assume that, but will that be the case? Yeah, he doesn't look like a giant, bro. Sorry, man. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I would that would be the shock of the draft if the Giants somehow went and did it. But it's just all the things that, and you know this, Scrubs. You're from up this way. You're South Side. We know this franchise, bro. We know how they get down. We know how the ownership group gets down. We know how this franchise moves, bro. I would love for them to change their ways, but we know who's still at the top. We know who runs shit over there. So, Script Zero. I know QBs will go around too, but they shouldn't. Drake May went number 3 overall last year, and he shouldn't have went that high. So we know how that goes. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the problem. Is that because teams feel like, all right, you have to keep taking the QB. You have to take him. You have to take him, despite the fact that they might not actually be good enough to be taken that high. This is what you're left with. We'll see if Greg is able to pull up. Let's see what Pro Football Talk has to offer. Anything salacious, anything T related. No, they're pretty much straightforward. They're just doing draft analysis and trying to get clicks to their website. Okay. All right. If you want to do best player available right now, is it the DBs? Unless you're high on Shamar Stewart. Oh, yeah, Nick's tape. Oh, boy. Knicks almost tricked it off. 118 to 116. Oh, I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that tonight. The Knicks almost tricked it off. 31 and 8 from Bodega Cat. Jalen Brunson explodes late with a 30 piece, 39 and 7. Hope y'all are taking them points, rebounds, assists, overs. But anyway, OG stuck with 22. I think he had that at the end of the third quarter. Maybe Sunny Lee did not make the trip. Josh Hart, 6, 11, and 9. That's a definite Josh Hart stat line. Did Mitch Rob give you something? I mean, he gave you minutes. Oh, no, not even a block. Let's say a couple blocks. No, not even. A couple steals, though. Campaign? Not really. No. All right, for the Pistons, Cade ended up shooting 40%. He was hovering around that end of the third quarter, 25 shots. You like that. Shot wasn't falling that night for Cade. 24, 11, and 7. Tim Hardaway Jr., Tobias gave you nothing. Tobias. Shout out to Long Island, though. All right, we'll see if Greg pulls up. He has the link. We'll see if he pulls up. If not, then we'll continue to move forward as we go along here. Knicks apparently pull out a nail biter. They were up 10 heading into the fourth quarter, and it looks like they squeaked out a 2-point victory in Motown. What up, though? Bengals go up. There's Shamar. Shamar's off the board. Edge rusher from A&M. Shamar Stewart at 17. More defensive linemen. The D linemen are going off the board ridiculously fast. There is now a run on D line. I mean, this whole first round now. Let's see if we can. Let me come off the screen here. I'm gonna try to get a quick count. I'm sure NFL.com has a big board we can all watch and use. Track every pick. Okay, yep. Yes, they do. Of course they do. It's the Shield. Of course the Shield has something. All right, so we can go here now. All right, so let's pick this out. Abdul Carter, 1. Mason Graham, 2. Mikael Williams, 3. Kenneth Grant, 4. Jalen Walker's an edge. That's 5. Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, 6. Shamar Stewart is an edge, that's 7. So 7 out of the 17 picks so far have been dedicated to the D-line. Offensive line has slowed down a little bit, but as Scrub Zero mentioned earlier, the linemen, especially tackles, especially very top heavy. It's the big 2. Argue big 3, but then after that, slim picking. So Will Campbell goes 4, Membu goes 7, Banks sneaks into the top 10 at 9. Then the Cowboys go guard at 12, that's 4. So 11 of the 17 picks so far have been dedicated to the trenches. 11 of the first 17 picks have been dedicated to the trenches. Yep, Bengals take Stewart. The Knicks was on some BS down the stretch. I mean, that sounds like a Tom Thibodeau team to me. That sounds exactly like a Tom Thibodeau team to me. What play you going to call, coach? Give the ball to Jalen, get out the way, or get the ball to Cat and get out the way. W with the over, 217. Ooh, did not know that was the over. Dog. This is not financial advice. This is not betting analysis. I have to do all those precursors and all that. But points, rebounds, assist, alt. There's some value there. Just take your time and just cruise through and either straight bets or you can parlay, but don't go too crazy with the parlays. Maybe a 3 or 4 leg at the most. Don't go crazy with the 5, 6, 7 leg joints. But yeah. Just saying. Some of this equipment in here is thanks to alt bets. Just saying. But salute to that. Knicks get the over. It looks like Memphis has a pulse early on against the Thunder. 31-21. Home cooking. Ja definitely throwing some grenades. All right, let's see where we at here. I think we're going to try to get, okay, Seahawks are going offensive line. North Dakota State. I like it. Gray Zabel. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've been crunching tape on Gray Zabel. But Seahawks go offensive line at 18. We're almost at Shador territory. Choosing no guard off the board. Yep, lineman. So now that's what we said, 11. That's 12 of the first 18 picks. We're in the trenches. 12 of the first 18 picks. We're in the trenches. Thank you, Howie. Thank you. You woke the league back up. You smacked them out of the doldrums of spread offenses and 4 wide receiver sets and all that type of nonsense. Love it. Gotta love it. 12 of the first 18 dedicated to the trenches. Apparently, they had some trade options. The Seahawks had some trade options, but they stood firm and took the. Well, they called him a center here. Is he a center or a guard? I guess it doesn't matter. They'll move him wherever they need him to. The trenches are winning tonight. Yeah, dogs. 12 out of the first 18. And I'm sure there's going to be more. Because some of these teams at the bottom here, now we're at 19, we're at the Bucks. I can see the Bucks going O-line. I mean, they should go defense. I don't know if it's jihad or not, but they should go defense. But I can see them going O-line. Man, the Broncos don't have to do anything, and they're just going to chill and end up with Hampton? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And the Steelers, depending on how Mike Tomlin and them feel about Shador, not having to move up at all, knowing that they're just going to chill and just get Shador, and that's it. They just chilling. If Shador goes 21, we might wrap this up. Because that's the only storyline I'm waiting for. Unless somehow we get word that Jackson Dart might get, like somebody might trade up to the first round and go get some Jackson Dart. But if Shador goes 21, I think we'll wrap the stream not that long after that. Do a quick little recap or whatever. We'll see. We'll give Greg a few minutes, see if he can pull up. If not, then we'll just go ahead and call it a night. I'm going to have the homie Stefan Sheffield pull up. It's either going to be, if it's not tomorrow, it'll probably be early next week once the draft is done, and we'll do a full draft recap. We'll go do it that way. All right. So, pick 19 is what we're waiting on now. What will. I think Shador is going to go 21 to Pittsburgh. I think it's going to happen. Okay, we're getting T from Jordan Schultz. A ton of activity at the bottom of this draft with teams looking to trade down. Couple of QB needy teams are making calls. Is that the Browns? Is that the Giants? QB needy. So let's see. Who is QB needy? Raiders? So we're thinking Browns, Giants, Raiders, Saints. You could even make a case for the Jets, low key. If you're the Browns and you just got that stockpile of picks from Jacksonville, I don't know if I'm leveraging any of that to move back up. Man, if Jacksonville were to if Jacksonville were to slide back up and try to get Shador and get Trevor Lawrence up out of here, flip Trevor Lawrence and open the door for Shador and Trav to be together in the league, then we definitely know who coming to coach after that. We definitely know who coming to coach after that. Scrub Zero, what is Steelers' other needs should they not go QB? Ooh, I would say D-line. That D-line's getting a little long in the tooth. Off the top of my head, I would say D-line. I would probably go. I mean, you could think a receiver. If it's not QB, I'm thinking D-line or receiver. Let's see what this website says is their needs. Oh, big board. Come on. Pittsburgh. They got them taking. Oh, no, that's not what we're looking at. They got corner here. They're taking corner and a D lineman. I agree with the D line part. Corner less so, but I mean they never really replaced. I mean, I guess you could make a case for corner, I guess, but I would go D line or receiver if I'm Pittsburgh and I'm not going QB. So if you're not going QB, there's been a run on the trenches. So maybe receiver, you might have better value. Look at that Golden. I mean, the Mecca is there. A Mecca's there. If I'm not doing it, I'm going to Mecca. Let's see what we got. We're almost there, Shador. We're almost there potentially. Oh, and there goes a Mecca off the board. The Bucks take a Mecca. Right as I'm saying, the Steelers might do it. A Mecca goes to 19 to pair him up with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Jalen McMillan. That is spicy. That is, we're going to make Baker Mayfield look as good as we need him to look. We're going to overwhelm Baker Mayfield. We're going to force you to be nice because we're just going to surround you with weapons galore. And while you have to look at what the Bucks could have done, I think defense was still a need here. But if you're trying to really overwhelm folks, we know they got running backs. They got running backs for days. They got a couple of them. Offensive line is still good enough. They could have did some things with tight end maybe. But going a Mecca at 19. Wow. A Mecca to the Bucks, right when I said the Steelers should look at a Mecca. I might know a little something. Just saying. Just saying. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now we're at 20. Who's at 20? Okay, so allegedly this should be the Broncos with Amarion Hampton out of North Carolina. And then the world will be on the clock waiting for Pittsburgh to figure out if they're going to take Shador at 21. A Mecca at 19. I used to have some Bucks fans pop up on the stream every now and then. I wonder if they're happy with Emeka. First, they would have to know who Emeka is. You gotta know ball to know how good Emeka is. Yo, if the Jags somehow get Shador, I'm done. Yo, I mean, if I mean it's a new GM. It's a new GM, yo. I'm just putting it out there. If you're a new GM, that Trevor Lawrence thing, you might be like, yo, I ain't gonna put my career on the line for no damn Trevor Lawrence. Let me buy myself some time, flip him. I mean, let's be real. If you're the Giants, if you're the Browns, if you're the Raiders, and the Jaguars come calling and they say, yo, Trevor is available, what would you be willing to give up? That's a real conversation. Now, that contract is very team friendly. Outside of Mahomes, the Trevor Lawrence deal is extremely team friendly. So while it is big money still, it's not a crazy contract like the Lamar, like the Josh Allen, like the Tua. It ain't like that. There's some wiggle room in that deal. So if I'm another team and the Jags come calling, gotta think about it. We getting Baker some help. I mean, it's amazing that. Here's the thing, right? And I've talked about this a lot, but I'll speed through it. Like, teams realizing what type of QB they have and having a transparent, honest conversation with themselves, you can tell how much a team thinks of themselves and thinks of their QB with how they draft. The Bucks are telling you by taking the Mecca, two things. One, we know Mike Evans is not long for this league. And Chris Godwin is coming off of an injury not that long ago. Yeah, injury last season. So just in case, we need to start preparing for that transition. We need to start preparing for the transition of Mike Evans to retire and potentially Chris Godwin to not still be who he was pre-injury. But it also means we need to keep Baker Mayfield surrounded with help because we can't trust Baker Mayfield to do it by himself. He's not that guy. Script Zero, I just don't want to see Eli Manning 2.5 and the Giants send Lawrence to the Browns. I mean, what's if you have Trev, you got Malik Neighbors. Maybe with Trev, you can unlock Jalen Hyatt. Tracy's your running back. Offensive line is it is what it is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence is good enough to trade for. Again, he's not a franchise guy. You can't trade for him thinking he's going to be your savior. He's already proven that he's not that in Duval. And speaking of Duval, Zach has pulled up. Just at the clip from the Jazz coach regarding Travis. Well, we got the tea earlier. Well, you gave me the real tea, but we got tea earlier that the Jags when they called Travis that both coordinators were on the phone. So we know he's going to play both. The plan is for Travis Hunter to play both sides of the ball and to play extensively at both sides. It ain't going to be no part-time thing. It's going to be a real thing. Let me see if I can get this video to the PC so we can get this plugged in. Let's see if we can get this done. AirDrop. AirDrop has been wonky. Let's see. AirDrop. Okay. We got the vid. All right. We'll see if we can hook that up. How are we going to play this out? Stream record. We can upload the vid. Give me a second. Video storage, image, extra cameras. Nope. Okay. I should be able to play this. Let me just pull this up. All right, come back here. Let's go to this screen. But we still need a browser. Okay. Now pull this. Okay. Pull that. Oh, it's going to keep taking me off the screen. All right, well, let's play it from here. All right, fresh Jag sound, courtesy of Zach. Let's see if we get this to play out. Hopefully, I should be able to hear that.
James have sort of proposed in the past, or do you see him, or you see it as kind of a we'll see type situation?
Oh, it's a little bit more than a we'll see, but we do have to be fluid throughout, right? We'll have a plan right now of, primarily
Let me know
on
y'all can
offense
hear this just
with
so
learning
we
the
good.
defensive system and practicing on the defensive side of the ball as well throughout this offseason program. And then as we continue to grow, we have to be fluid throughout this whole process. We've had multiple conversations at length with athletic training, equipment, sports science, coaching, equipment, everybody involved about this process and what it's going to look like moving forward. So we have a plan in place, and that's really where we'll start.
For both of you guys, just what?
And the plan is for him to play. The plan is for him to play and play both sides. So thank you, Zach, for that. We got some good fresh sound coming in. Fresh off. Let me see. Now we got to come off this screen to get back to the main screen. Give me a sec. Pull that up there. Boom. And now we back. All right. So hopefully y'all heard that. Pretty sure y'all heard that. Cool. All right. So the Jags plan, and we showed it earlier, both coordinators were on the phone with Travis Hunter. That tells you everything they need to know. The secondary, we had the advanced metrics. Let me see. Warren Sharp had it. Jags defensive EPA, YPA, basically all their PAs were next to last or dead last. Sorry. So yeah, we'll mute that sound. We don't need Warren Sharp and his mustache. But in regards to the pass defense last year, 32nd in EPA, 32nd in explosive pass defense, and 32nd in YPA. So that's dead last. There's only 32 teams, okay? So there's only 32 teams, and they were dead last in those three categories. You bringing in Travis Hunter, and now you're able to have him on defense be that lockdown corner, or at least be a number 2 corner, and on offense you're going to have him be able to help Trevor Lawrence, or maybe Shador, and be able to get that going and help out with packages and things of that nature. So I love the fact that he's getting the chance to try it. That's all I've been asking for, is give him a chance to try it. A lot of folks I was talking to throughout this process were like, nah, he's got to pick one. I'm like, or the league is going to tell him he can only play one or the other. And I'm like, it's 32 teams. One team should have the wherewithal to let him try. Thank you, Duval. Pull up to him, my QB getting slandered is crazy. No. I mean, well, I'm not slandering. I'm just saying he's not a franchise. He's not a savior QB. You would admit that. He's not a savior QB. Come on now, Zach. Me and you have had enough conversations about, you've been on this YouTube channel talking about Trevor Lawrence. Like, come on. Your QB just a newer model of Eli, and that's not a good thing. I mean, that's that Script Zero's opinion. You know what I'm saying? Y'all two could go back and forth about that. Let's see where we at. Did the Broncos do the thing that we knew they were going to do? Did they take Omarion? Oh shit. Okay, so we got a few moves here. The Broncos took Barron at 20. They go DB. Patrick Surtain and Barron as your secondary, and the Steelers pass on Shador. The Steelers passed on Shador. They go D-line. Derek Harmon at 21. Y'all asked me, where should they go if not for, if they don't go QB, where should they go? I said D-line or receiver. They went D-line. Okay. Now it's interesting. What team is going to trade up? Now that's the next discussion. Now that we got to 21 and it's not Shador, where's Shador going to go? Is Shador going to be a first-round QB? Now the spice is back. We thought this was going to be anticlimactic. The Steelers go against the grain, and they go D-line. That is now how many picks now? How many D-linemen? Where were we at? 12? I think that's now 13 out of the first 21. The Steelers don't have a second-round pick. We all discovered this earlier in this stream. If they want a rookie QB, they'll either have to wait a while or make a move up. Yeah, their next pick is in the third round. Their next pick is in the third round. No Shador to Pittsburgh. What a time. What a time. Shador's got to be tight. Made sense. Black and yellow, black and gold, color scheme. Derek Harmon. Yeah, man, things are happening. Things are happening. Oh, now Script Zero wants Shador. You want the Giants to do it? If only he was a few, not even a few. If only he was a lot of shades lighter, maybe. Zach, my opinion is a savior QB doesn't exist because situation matters more than anything. That sounds like a man that knows he doesn't have a franchise QB as his QB. That's exactly what that sounds like. There are some guys that come along that are franchise QBs. Trevor Lawrence, people were tanking. People were imploring teams to tank for Trevor Lawrence because he was thought to be a savior QB. And for whatever reason, and I'm sure you have a lot of them as to why it hasn't happened, some of that might actually be aligned with the fact that he's just not a franchise savior type QB. He could just be a very good starting QB, but not a savior QB. To me, he hasn't shown that he's that. Shador is not a Pittsburgh Steeler. Love that. Now we got some drama. We got some analysis here of why the Steelers were split on Shador. Let's see. Do I want to play this sound? All right, let's see if we can sneak it in. Pause.
What this on the Pittsburgh Steelers with Shador Sanders still out there. We know he had a good visit. We know he is now available. We do not know if the Steelers are going to pick him. My understanding is, as of yesterday, they were going back and forth. Is the value worth it? Split in the room. We will see what decision they make.
Okay, so the question was more about, is the value worth it? Interesting. The value of taking a QB, again, that first round prize, that first round contract, that first round money definitely matters here. That's 5 years, potentially 5 years of guaranteed money. That tells me the split on the room is probably Tomlin wanted him, but the front office was trying to say, like, yo, dogs, Cameron Hayward ain't get any younger. We could go fortify the D-line and figure that out, figure the QB out later. Third round maybe. Or maybe if we're going to trade, maybe we trade into the second round. We won't have to give up as much to do so and do it then. So Amarion is still on this board, y'all. If you're Coach Wrangler in the Chargers, do you do it? Let me come off the screen. Does Coach Wrangler do it? Omarion is still on the board. Who needs a running back? Chargers. You can make a case for the Chargers. I don't think the Packers will do it. Vikings. No, they got Aaron Jones. Texans could be interesting. If Omarion is somehow still there at 31 and you're the Chiefs, would you entertain the thought, knowing you probably could use O-line help? Is the value of what Omarion can be? I mean, you could give me the Pacheco stuff and all of that, but I mean, something to consider. There's going to be some interesting moves at the bottom of this draft. With Shador, we can now say Shador is sliding. The team that we had earmarked for Shador did not do it. Now he's going to slide unless somebody trades up to rescue him. Omarion has slid. Will Johnson has slid. Matthew Golden has slid. That's about it. Everybody else is kind of where we thought. There's only been, you could debate whether there's been 3 reaches. I would say there's been about 2 reaches. I think Tet at 8 is a reach, but if you're telling me we found out after the fact that he's been working out with Bryce Young for weeks, so clearly that's not a reach. Clearly they had him pegged at 8. And to me, the Bears going Loveland at 10. Cole Kmet's days are definitely numbered. Scrub Zero, the front office in Pittsburgh, stay blocking Tomlin from drafting his QB. I mean, that's my assumption. If Rappaport is saying they were split and Tomlin went out of his way to talk glowingly about Shador, and all the reports said that he had good visits, and even Rappaport in that clip said the same. If that's the case, then yeah, I mean, it sounds like Tomlin got outranked. We'll see how that goes. I'm sure we'll get more tea as the days and weeks go along with that, because that will be a storyline. That will be a storyline going forward of wherever Shador ends up. If he begins to cook, if he becomes one of them, people are going to look at the Steelers for passing on him. You gotta love the analysis. Like every pick gets rave reviews. Like every pick is like great upside, great upside. Like, well, I will hope so. He's a damn first round pick. Like if a first round pick doesn't have upside, then I don't know. Okay, we're getting some tea here. The Broncos were trying to move up. Were they trying to move up to get Barron? Omarion and Shador still on the board. Schefter's been way too quiet tonight. Rappaport's locked in. All right, so we talked about the Bucks and what they can do with this money. Mike Evans making 21 mil, Godwin with 22, Mecca now with his salary cap, with his rookie scale locked in, 10.6, and Jalen McMillan only at $1 million. That's a very expensive wide receiver room, but again, that Mike Evans deal is very much front loaded. Godwin off an injury, Emeka acts as a insurance policy of sorts. And then you begin the transition for eventually whenever Mike Evans decides to walk away. The Chargers take Omarion. Okay, so now the Shador watch is definitely on. I like this pick. Even though Harbaugh took his mans from Michigan last year. Who he took? Forgot his mans last year. Took his mans last year. Now he gets a real running back, a real starting running back to replace Austin Eckler from a couple of years ago. Now they have a real RB1. I know they got Najee Harris, but I'm really high on Omarion Hampton. I like that pick a lot for the Chargers. I like it. Man, are we going to have to wait here for the rest of the night waiting on Shador or what? Yep, quorum. Thank you. Now at this part of the draft is where it's like, yeah, these guys are first rounders, but these are more value picks. These aren't, you know, I mean, first round picks should be starters, right? And high level starters. However, as you get to be later in the first round of the draft, that's when you're starting to look like, all right, this guy is just a good starter. Because, I mean, we're getting crapshoots with a lot of these players. We're getting a lot of guesses with a lot of these players. All these players look good on tape. All these players have good film. All these players have good metrics. Now it's about scheme and fit and work ethic, health, adaptation, all of that. So now it's just we're going to see names fly off the board and be like, all right, I guess that's a good pick. Well, they need that position. We don't know if this particular player fills that need for that position, but at least they took someone at a position where it was a position of need. That's kind of what you're going to get. Now, the Shedeur piece is the sexy piece because it's like polarizing character. Talked about that on the pod earlier today. He is a quarterback. It's the most important position in the sport. There's a lot of stuff that comes with him, and there's still the unknown of some aspects of his game. So there's a lot of things there about Shedeur. And then you have the lurking thing of, when do we get to Jackson Dart territory? If we're now in almost the mid-20s, if we haven't seen Shedeur come off the board, well, what range are we thinking for Jackson Dart? And are those two ranges now the same? Is Shedeur now in the range of Jackson Dart? And our team's going to have to choose, most likely at the top of the second round, between Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart. Eagles discussing moving up with the Packers. Howie is seeing something. I'm putting the glasses back on. Howie sees chum in the water. Eagles discussing moving up with the Packers. Packers are at 23. They're on the clock. Who does Howie like? Is it Will Johnson? He gonna put Will Johnson in that secondary? What lineman? I mean, he loves Georgia. Could he go Stark? He's not moving up for Starks, right? If I'm Howie, who has slid that I'm willing to trade up for? Jihad? Somebody named Jihad in Philly, if you know Philly, is hilarious, by the way. Jihad, if Howie's trying to move up, I'm thinking that's Jihad. Because Howie don't reach. So if he's jumping up from 32, it's because now I want the trade to happen. Now I want the trade to happen. I don't know what the trade is. Now I want it to happen just because I want to know who Howie wants right now. Oh, I'm locked in now. Eagles discussing moving up with Packers. I need this to happen. No trade. Packers are picking. Okay. Howie tried this. Howie had the ski mask on. He was about to enter the door. He couldn't pick that lock. He could not pick that lock. Howie tried. Howie saw something. I don't know if we'll find out. We'll probably have to wait. I need the Philly people to find out who was Howie going to take if he was able to get the deal done with the Packers. And who did the Packers take? Matthew Golden, another receiver off the board. So that's the third receiver off the board in this first round. I gotta know who Howie wanted. I gotta know. Vikings are now on the clock. Just 8 more picks. 8 more picks, y'all. I think I can make it. I think I can make it. Full day of work, run home. No, wake up, pod, go to work, full day of work, come home, stream. For the love of the game. All right, let's see. Oh, the Grizz are putting the hurting to the OKC Thunder. They getting they get back. I bet Ja is smiling his ass off. He was smiling down 50. He's got to be smiling up 27. All right, so there's your update there. Knicks tape got that dub, right? That was official. That wasn't no fluke. Knicks got the dub. Yep, Knicks hung on for a 118-116 victory. They're now up 2-1. Memphis looking to get the 2-1 themselves. Oh, Denver and LA is going on at the same time? Oh, they're staggering that? Don't like that. Clippers up early, game 3 at the crib. Intuit Dome. They got that wall up there. Clippers up 7 after the first quarter. We'll jump to some stats real quick. Boardman, talked about him on today's pod as well. Link to that's in the description in the stream description if you want to tap in. Is Jokic doing Jokic things? Jokic 6, 7, and 4 already. Aaron Gordon has decided to show up. What about MPJ? MPJ only 2 points. They really live and die with Michael Porter Jr. So wacky, so weird. Meanwhile, the Beard with an early 13, 4, and 2. What's Boardman doing? Boardman. Quick 5, first quarter. Zubac hanging with Jokic, not getting into foul trouble. Staying on the floor. Chris Dunn has been a revelation of sorts. Even Ben Simmons getting some action. Okay. Hopefully by the time this first round is done, we'll be in the second half of Nuggets Clippers. Hopefully it's still competitive. I still really like the Clippers, not just in that series. I like the Clippers in the West. Hard stop. Let's see. Okay, so according to Warren Sharp, take this for what it is. Apparently, the Steelers do not have interest, and probably this is more sort of front office and not Mike Tomlin, do not have interest in Shedeur Sanders, and they do not have interest in Jackson Dart. So, effectively, the Steelers are out of the QB mix. And ultimately, that might be the smartest thing for that franchise. Because they did not have the offensive infrastructure for success for Shedeur. I've talked about this over the last few weeks. If Shedeur is to be successful, he needs to go to a team that has a lot of weapons already. Like we're having debates in the chat and stuff like that about what is a franchise QB, what is a savior QB. Like to me, Shedeur has his ceiling is a high level starting QB. He's not a franchise QB. and he's not a savior QB. He's that third tier. If you're that third tier, which I know this is going to sound bad, but let's just take Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield has bounced around. He was thought to be a savior. He flamed out as a savior QB. He flamed out as a franchise QB. Then when he just became a starting QB, you started to see production. Then when he fell into Tampa Bay, and he had Mike Evans, and he had Chris Godwin, and he had a respectable offensive line, and he had good running backs behind him, all of a sudden, now Baker Mayfield is putting big numbers up because he's been surrounded with weapons. I think that's the same way you need it for sure. I think that's the same way that Shedeur needs it. Shedeur needs that infrastructure to be already set, and the Steelers don't have that. Not on offense. They have it in organization, in franchise, in coaching. They don't have it in offensive skill set players. They don't have it. So I think that this could be a blessing in disguise for Shedeur, because I don't think the Steelers were going to be the best fit anyway, outside of the fact that they have Mike Tomlin. And we know why that's, yeah, okay. The Packers, they're taking Matthew Golden at 23. It's the first time the Packers have done that since 2002. And here's a footnote. Golden wasn't even born the last time they took that. So Golden wasn't even born in 2002. All right. The Vikings go linemen. Again, the trenches. The trenches are back. Vikings go Donovan Jackson out of the Ohio State University at 24. Okay. If we're getting to, now we're at 25 with the Texans. Texans now on the clock. There are 8 picks left. Unless somebody trades up into the bottom of the first round, Shedeur's not getting drafted. I know Script Zero said look at the Rams, so we'll keep an eye on the Rams. We'll see if McVay does it. I don't think McVay does it, because I think McVay has a lot of Shanahan in the way he thinks he's the system. The QB is not the system. The coach / OC / play caller is the system. So I don't think he does Shedeur at 26. We'll see. 25, we know they're not taking a QB. We know that Houston Texans are not taking a QB. If you're D'Amico Ryans, what do you want? Offensive line could be a thing. Low key, I would not be mad if they took another receiver. I mean, they tried the Stephon Diggs thing. That flamed out. Nico is dope, but he got hurt. And Tank Dell is cool, but that's more of a novelty thing, in my opinion. I wouldn't be mad if Texans went receiver here. Now, who is available at receiver? Oof, I don't know if I'm doing Burden. The top 4 receivers are off the board. Yeah, I don't know if I'm doing Burden. Burden should not be a first-round receiver. All right, yeah, that might be a tough one then. Maybe you don't do that. Tough. Very, very tough. Ooh, Texans are trading. The Giants are on the clock. Is this Shedeur? Are the Giants going to shock us all? Texans are trading number 25 to the Giants. Giants are now on the clock. Is Shedeur Sanders about to be a Giant? Or is this Jackson Dart? Was the Suns' IG post a smokescreen? Oh, it's about to get fun. This is about to get fun. This is about to get fun. Greg is in the chat. Shoot you a new link. You feeling good? Oh, that's right. Greg is a Packers guy, so he's locked in. Let me see if I can shoot you another link. Let me see if I can do that. All right. Well, we got Texans are trading number 25 to the Giants. The Giants are now on the clock. The Giants are about to draft a black quarterback? Or is this all for Jackson Dart? Nothing would be more Giants. Nothing would be more Giants than trading up to take Jackson Dart with Shedeur right there. Nothing would be more Giant than that. If they do that, we all are going to collectively laugh together. The Giants have traded the number 34 pick, so that's their second round pick. So you traded the second round pick, a third round pick, and a future sixth round pick to the Texans. Dog, if they doing this for Jackson Dart, it will be cemented forever. If they do this for some Jackson Dart, as my IEM just crashes out, if they do this for some Jackson Dart, I would be amazed, bro. Absolutely amazed. Absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal time. Patrick, let's go. Yes, we are here for the drama. Like I always say, some people root to be right when it comes to this sports stuff. I just root for chaos because chaos makes my brain work. Chaos makes like some of the stuff. We've been on this stream for almost 3 hours. And I haven't run out of shit to say yet because there's been such good stuff happening that makes my brain work and be able to dissect stuff. And then y'all are in the chat. Y'all are giving me stuff to bounce off of. This is why we do this. Because of nights like this. We have stuff happening. Bruh, if this is Jackson Dart, if they're doing all of this for Jackson Dart, they took Jackson Dart. Let's all laugh. No, we have to laugh. We have to laugh. They did all of this to take Jackson Dart. They moved up 11 spots. They gave up, 3 extra picks? 2 extra picks. They gave up a second, a third, and a future sixth. They gave up 3 extra picks just to take Jackson Dart. Shedeur Sanders, your thoughts? Coach Prime, in that Louis luggage, your thoughts? Oh my God. This is absolutely insane. Patrick, beautiful, beautiful chaos. We love the chaos, and nothing is more chaotic. The streak lives. The Giants still have never drafted a black quarterback. The streak lives. If you know, you know. The Giants refuse to take a black quarterback. They rue the day that Geno Smith started. So much so that they fired McAdoo just for starting Geno Smith. Do you understand that the New York Football Giants, let me come on the screen here. The New York Football Giants were so incensed that Bob McAdoo allowed Geno Smith to start a game that they fired that man. And then they let Eli Manning start for another 2 years just to wash away the remnants of the one start Geno Smith made. And now they have a black quarterback chilling there in their sights, yet they decide to mortgage 3 additional picks just to move up to take not Shedeur Sanders, but Jackson Dart. Hey, Mara family, tell me how you really feel. They might be one of the few franchises that were extremely happy when the NFL decided, let's remove the whole racism thing from the end zone. It seems like the Giants might have been the first ones out there cleaning that off of MetLife. Like, I mean, between the Jets and the Giants, they might have been right out there together, trying to erase that shit together in tandem. But, I mean, goddamn, Mara family, goddamn. 3 of them picks for some Jackson Dart. 3 of them. All right. Now that I've done that, let me see if I can get Gia-Link. Let me see if I get Gia-Link. Good Lord. Goodness gracious. All right, let me see if I can get another link. Let me get this going. All right, let me put the screen up in the meantime. Craziness. Only the Giants, yo. Only the Giants. G said it right. So, it's so freaking Giants. It's so freaking Giants. They fired Bob McAdoo just for entertaining the thought of starting Geno Smith and benching Eli Manning, who was beyond washed. Beyond washed. Let's see what we can do here with this chat. Yo, Scrub Zero, you really need to say something, bro. It is insane, bro. I don't know how you deal with this poverty franchise. That is a poverty franchise, bro. New link, refresh. Okay. G, I'm going to email it to you because I can't text from this computer. So give me a sec. Let me come off the screen. We're going to try to get the homie Greg Larner to pull up for a little bit. He could give us some Packer stuff. He could talk about Titans since he's out there in Tennessee. Let me see. Yo, the Giants really did it. I can't. It's amazing. It is amazing. All right, G, check your email. Oh, man. What a time. I can't believe they did it. I can't believe they gave us the pump fake of maybe sliding back up to do something. And the only thing that they did, wait a minute, more stuff is happening. Hang on. Let me get the screen back up. More stuff is happening. Falcons are in the mix. Falcons are doing things. Falcons are trading a future first to the Rams to come back up into round 1. Falcons trade pick 46, 242, and a 2026 first for the Rams 26th and 101. All right, well, we know they're not doing Shedeur, right? We know the Falcons are not doing Shedeur. But who are they? Who has slid? I don't think anyone has slid that would warrant A future first? Who could the Falcons want? Jihad? Jihad's still there is a little surprising. Will Johnson? Who do they want? It would be a really good time to have G pull up. I think I see him. Okay, let's see. See, we get G up here on the screen. Let me get the audio good.
Modern day NFL quarterback.
What up, Sam D?
What's good, G? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. Finally able to make this work. Got the number 1 overall pick in Tennessee.
Yeah, man, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Let me get your levels right. Let me make sure we're good there. Get you coming in right. Let me get you over here. Up. Nope, not that way.
Oh, you want me full screen? Okay. We're going live.
We're trying to get it right. I'm hearing you in a different place than I should be. So that's what I'm
Okay.
trying to navigate.
You want me to keep talking? Would that help?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just about as surprised as everybody else here in the chat, including yourself, when it comes to the Giants not taking a black quarterback, taking one Jackson Dart ahead of Shedeur Sanders, to me is wild. Absolutely
Extremely
insane.
wild.
Like, what are we doing?
There's no rationale that I'm willing to accept.
Like Scrub Zero said in the chat, like, he's literally a 3rd round talent. And they already have a quarterback in this room that understands what it's like to be a 3rd round talent.
Yeah, it's very peculiar. As much as it's so Giants, like you said in the chat, I'm trying to understand. You leveraged 3 extra picks. You're telling me you couldn't wait until 34? You couldn't wait until tomorrow to take Jackson Dart? There were other teams clamoring for Jackson Dart to the point where you felt you needed to leverage 3 additional picks just to get that off. Like, that's where it's wild to me. That's where it's extremely troubling to me.
I mean, surely he would have been there tomorrow. Who in their right mind is trading back into and or taking him here in round 1?
I mean, if you're telling me, let me see. If I told you, if the Browns were flirting with moving up, but again, why would you be certain that they're doing that for Jackson Dart? They could have been doing that for Shedeur.
I'd rather Shedeur. I mean, I was hearing that he was going to fall towards the back half of the end of round 1 and or if not round 2.
Same.
I didn't hear any buzz about Jackson Dart being a 1st round quarterback. And the Giants have to trade back into the 1st round to go get him. I mean, maybe, again, we're not in NFL circles, so maybe there was some buzz around the league, or maybe it was smoke and mirrors. That's, maybe a different team wanted the Giants to believe that they were thinking about taking Dart, and they said, oh, shit. And they, their butthole tightened up a little bit, and they said, well, now we got to make a move. Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll are not long for this job.
No, and it's become a thing where, the Maras weren't happy with them this past offseason, and they kind of put them on notice. And their response to that, while I like the Abdul Carter pick, I mean, they just kind of fell into it. They didn't have to do anything to get Abdul Carter. But this Jackson Dart thing is the one where it's like, my God, we're in a position, like, if you're trading up, we know the Sun, Sheen's son, put on IG the Jackson Dart highlight. So again, he's now 2 for 2. He prophesized that Jaden Daniels was going to be nice, although, I mean, it's a number 2 overall pick. How could he not be? But
we've seen some high picks not be nice.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we all kind of knew that Jaden Daniels was going to be one of them. I mean, there was even some people that were claiming that the Bears should take Daniels number 1. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but Jackson Dart, they definitely could have gotten him tomorrow. Like, I think whoever told them, yo, you better get him now and not wait till tomorrow, I think they're full of shit.
Yeah.
And it might have been the Texans telling them like, hey, other teams are hitting us up. You better get this done now. You better throw in some more picks because I got somebody
I love
on the
it.
line that's ready.
I love it.
Insane. Well, look, you clearly you're out there in Tennessee. You guys were doing a great thing out there, doing a live remote for this. What was the energy like? What was the moment like when the anticlimactic thing finally happened and the Titans selected Cam Ward #1 overall?
It was awesome, dude. We were at a Chattanooga Titan fans event. They have it at this brewery called Tailgate Brewery in downtown Chattanooga. It was an awesome event. They had some giveaways, some prizes. There was a bunch of Tennessee fans out there, and as you mentioned, the word had kind of already spread, and I think everybody sort of knew there was no surprises that Cam Ward was going to get taken. So it was nice to see that he was the one that got taken, and it seemed like everybody was cool with it. Everybody was hyped that, hey, we got a quarterback. We just hope that he turns out better than some of the previous quarterbacks that we've drafted. So there was a lot of hype. There was really a lot of hype. Everybody seemed really happy with Cam Ward and with his skill set, and we were kind of talking a little bit about him as well. And he just makes a lot of magic. And there's some things he's got to clean up. I'm not gonna I don't want to say he's Will Levis-esque in terms of like the crazy shit that he ends up doing when he has the football in his hand, but it seems like Cam Ward is able to make good things happen more times than not than Will Levis. Now, will he get away with it at the next level of the NFL? That's something that we have to see. We know the Tennessee Titans don't have a whole lot of weaponry there for him to throw to other than Tyler Lockett. So, again, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I kind of likened him to a Deshaun Watson before the massages. Like a Houston Deshaun Watson. Okay. Where he just seems to always – I used to call Deshaun Watson the Magic Man. Now, I don't love that nickname as much for him. But now he's making things – he's making bad plays off the field. So, when it comes to Cam Ward, that was kind of always how I viewed him, how I saw him. He just always found a way to make things happen. And if he can bring that type of magic to a Tennessee team, again, void of weapons – they'll be okay. But this is a guy that they absolutely need to hit on. Tennessee has been thirsting for a dynamic quarterback, and in this draft, that guy was Cam Ward in my eyes.
And I hear all of that, and I co-sign the majority of that. I think for me, the only thing is like, okay, how sure are you that he is to me, when you're picking #1 overall, you're looking for a franchise guy. You're looking for a savior type of guy. Like when you're in that vaunted position and you're hoping that someone is good enough to be warranted to be taken #1 overall, based off what you've seen, based off what you've heard, and I'll just start with just your opinion. Forget, clearly the Titans believe he is. Do you believe that Cam Ward is a savior type QB?
Ultimately, I don't believe he's that savior quarterback. I think he can be exciting. I think he can make some plays. But when it comes down to it, is he going to be a guy that takes this team to the next level, that take this team to a playoff? Unless they get some weaponry there for him to throw to, I don't see it right away. It's going to take building around him. And that's the scary thing about, like you said, taking a quarterback at #1 overall. You're at #1 for a reason. You didn't perform very well the year before. There's not a whole lot of talent on this Titans team. They're not too far removed from being a really good team and a really good, playoff team, but a lot of the pieces that were there are no longer there. So You're kind of having to rebuild. They don't have a whole lot of, again, young talent that you can really be excited about to say, oh, like, okay, if X, Y, and Z grows up. Treylon Burks has not proven to be that guy. They drafted him to replace A.J. Brown, and it just hasn't happened. Chig Okonkwo, I know I told you how high I was on him. He has been a major letdown. The running back room no longer has Derrick Henry there. The offensive line has been an absolute shambles. So for all of those reasons, more so the offensive line, I don't think Cam Ward is going to be set up for success in Tennessee.
And so that takes me back to, the stuff that I was saying, in regards to why not Abdul Carter? Why not a Travis Hunter? Now, I think Travis Hunter less so, but for me, with that pass rush being as lackluster as it was last year, especially in comparison to years past when Vrabel was there, why not go take the more surefire game record, game changing prospect that day one, week one, when he puts his hands in the dirt, he's going to make an impact in terms of Cam Ward, where to your point and to points that we've been making here all night is like he needs to be surrounded by help, much like a Baker Mayfield, much like even some of these other QBs that we've been talking about is he good, is he not? Geno, like he wasn't good, now he's good. Now we just assume he's good, or was it the product of being around more talent? Like I think Cam Ward is closer to that than being, oh, he's a Mahomes type. Just put him on the field and he'll get you 10 wins by himself. Like I don't see Cam Ward being that. So if he's not that, why not take Abdul Carter, who to me is the safest bet? While Travis Hunter is the sexiest bet, Abdul Carter to me was the safest bet to take at number 1.
What about this? What if I threw this at you? What if the Giants clearly wanted a quarterback, no?
Clearly, yeah.
Clearly wanted a quarterback.
Yep.
Why not try to trade back to 3 with the Giants? That way you give up the number 1 overall pick. You get the number 3 pick. You could probably take Abdul Carter in that spot, and you get extra draft capital for a team, again, bereft of talent. To me, that's what I would have done. But then again, that would have, meant that the Giants would have had to draft a black quarterback. So, and we know they're just not going to do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just not going to happen. So
I wonder if this was another Eli Manning co-signed quarterback draft, because
not. God damn, yeah,
because again,
Jones, right? He co-signed
Daniel Jones and from Ole Miss. Obviously, Eli's an Ole Miss guy.
Connections. No. You're cooking. You're cooking right now. It could be. Knowing that organization, it's all inside. It's all inside. They don't allow a lot of outsiders to come in their purview, to change up their purview. That let's just pause for a second. Some things have happened. Another trade has happened. And one of them involves a team that's near you. The Falcons gave up a first-round pick to move up. And they are now booking edge rushers, James Pierce Jr., to go along with Jalen Walker. Falcons are trying to get that edge going. It's been the theme the whole night. The trenches are back. What Howie Roseman and the Eagles were able to pull off, they were hiding in plain sight, sneaking off and just plucking Georgia players every year, plucking, and just supplanting them into their defense. And all of a sudden now they got a dominant defense. The league finally realized after the Lombardi was hoisted in Broad Street that now maybe we should invest in the trenches. So now the Eagles, and now the Falcons, now are out here in, I'm always partial to interior line, but at least they're addressing the edge, which has been a thing. Grady Jarrett's not getting any younger. But I mean,
Grady's not even there anymore. He's in Chicago.
He's in Chicago now, right?
Yeah.
You're correct. He's in Chicago now. Bear down. But now that we have edge rushers with the Falcons, off the cuff, what are you thinking? Do you like this for the Falcons? Is this something that you heard that they might try to do in terms of addressing the edge to this degree where they're trading back up to go get another one?
So what's interesting to me about James Pierce Jr. and honestly, Sam, I wasn't really a big fan of the Falcons taking a guy like James Pierce Jr. Coming into the year last year, there were rumblings, and we talked to Max Chadwick of Pro Football Focus about the draft this time, kind of last year, like right after the draft. And he mentioned James Pierce Jr. had that ability to be like a number 1 overall pick type of guy, but clearly just didn't show up last year. There was not a lot of game wrecking coming from James Pierce Jr. And I get it. Look, you got to deal with double teams, this, that, and the other thing. But Jadeveon Clowney has dealt with double teams at South Carolina, and he was able to do some things and wreck some games. I'm a little skeptical on James Pierce Jr. I needed to see more last year, and I didn't see it. So to me, this doesn't feel like a great fit. Obviously, Falcon fans that are here in Chattanooga that love Tennessee, they're going to love having James Pierce Jr. here near and dear to where they are just down the road in Atlanta. But to me, this doesn't feel like the best spot for him. I would have loved to see James Pierce Jr. go to a spot where they already had some established pass rushers and say, okay, we're going to build a package for you, young fella. Just go get after the quarterback. Now he's going to be asked to sort of be that savior in a place where they've been bereft of pass rush talent for a very long time. And now you're asking Walker to come in and do it from one side, then James Pierce coming in from the other side to do it. Like, I love what the Falcons are trying to do in their concept. I just hope James Pierce Jr. is a better pro than he was this last year at Tennessee. Because again, most of the time, if you can't wreck games in college, you sure as shit aren't going to wreck games in the next level at the NFL. So I'm not super high on where James Pierce Jr. is right now. And for all the Falcon fans and for Tennessee fans, I hope to goodness that I'm wrong, because I do like James Pierce Jr. But a lot of the times last year, Sam, I was asking where in the world is he? There was like an
Right.
APB out for James Pierce Jr.
And again, giving up a first rounder next year to do it, like, that's just compounded. And as you see here, Jordan Schultz, reaction by one source to the Falcons trading a future first to come back into the first round.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
exactly. I don't know if I love that. I feel like James Pierce Jr. was going to be a guy, if he snuck into the end of the first round, that he would probably be available at the sort of somewhere around the beginning of the second round. And again, I like the concept by the Falcons. I just don't know if it's going to work out. I get that they're trying to do all they can to get the edge rush going, the pass rush going, because that's what they've really missed. And they've done a lot on the offensive side of the ball the last couple of years. So I love that at least Terry Fontenot's trying and he's putting forth the effort to go get those defensive players.
And you see here, the pick is in at 27. The Ravens select Georgia safety.
I like that.
Malachi Starks.
I like
so
that.
Now you're talking about Cal Hamilton. Now
Yes.
you're adding Starks. I mean, that safety position, there's some hybrid stuff going on there. You could both bring them down in the box if you want to attack off the edge. As much as I want them to give Lamar weapons, I didn't like the moves last year going DB in the first round, when I think they could have did some things with receivers, specifically more so Coleman from Buffalo.
Keon Coleman. Yep.
Yeah. But now this year, not really a receiver-heavy draft. More so, all the big three receivers, big four, are already gone. I'm not mad at this move. I like Malachi Starks.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, though, and Scrub Zero pointing this out in the chat. Ravens doing Raven things on selecting Malachi Starks. We know what the inefficiencies are for the Ravens. The Ravens are a team that needs something on offense. We kind of all know what it is, but for whatever reason, they just refuse to address it, whether through free agency and over the last 3 drafts. I've been paying attention to them hardcore. They refuse to do it in the draft as well. Ravens, defense again in the first round. Maybe we talked about earlier in regards to drafting for need or enhancing what you already have. This to me was not a need. This is enhancing what you already have, because you already have Cal Hamilton. Now you're basically getting a quasi clone of Cal Hamilton to go on the other safety spot. Do you like this move for the Ravens?
I do. Honestly, like, I know a lot of people, and we were talking a little bit about this on the show because one of our co-hosts and our producer, Joseph, he's a huge Georgia Bulldog fan. And Miggy also sort of made the point of, hey, like, I mentioned Malachi to some other team earlier in the draft. He's like, well, Malachi played like shit last year. But honestly, I think there were so many holes in that Georgia secondary that he was running around trying to plug all the holes up, and try to do what he could do to at least make that secondary respectable. He's an incredible talent that's been there a couple of times. You just mentioned, when it comes to Philly, I know you've been talking about the defensive line, but you get those Kirby Smart defensive players,
Sure.
and generally they are really good players. And we had Javon Bullard in Green Bay this past year, drafted him from Georgia, and he was a pretty solid player. So I love the addition of Malachi Stark, and you talked about Kyle Hamilton, pairing those two guys together. You have a decent enough offense with Lamar and with Derrick Henry. And I know D-Hop's older. They could certainly use a more involved playmaker at the receiver position. I'm not doubting you in that at all, but let's shore up this defense. Let's shore up this secondary. And again, generally, when you look at the NFL, when you have that real good strength on the defensive side of the football, it makes things very difficult, and you're usually able to be a really good team, and you're able to go far in the postseason. So again, maybe they just didn't feel like there was a good enough talent offensively out there for them to take it this spot. What are your feelings? I know you mentioned Kyle Hamilton and you seem to, kind of like that, but what do you think the Ravens should be looking for or should have been looking for maybe outside of Starks?
So, I'm always going to stick to the offense when it comes to them. So I was looking at this board, right? So we got the big board, the big four receivers, Hunter, Tet, Golden, and Emeka. All four of them are gone, right? So now you're looking at Luther Burden. Is Luther Burden worth a first-round pick? To me, no. He's not a first-round receiver. However,
I like Luther Burden a lot.
if I'm the Ravens and I know I need to improve at the wide receiver spot and I'm at the bottom of the first round, which is essentially a second-round pick if you really want to parse it, I'm not mad at Luther Burden at that spot. I'm not mad at it. I'm not saying he's going to be more impactful. But I mean, to me, it's just we see it every playoff run. Regular season, the Ravens do great. They have games where they put up 40 plus, and Lamar's throwing 5 touchdowns, and he looks like he could win a third MVP, and it looks amazing. Then when the game slows down in the postseason, and you need a guy to beat a guy, they don't have anyone who could beat a guy.
Yeah.
And now I don't know if Luther Burden is ready to be that guy to beat a guy. But I certainly know Rashad Bateman's not a guy who can beat a guy in a big spot. And Zay Flowers, if he's healthy, maybe, but then he had some drops. Mark Andrews is old. Isaiah Likely, sometimes he looks like he's one of them, and sometimes he doesn't. So right now, there's no one on that roster. D-Hop is old as hell. He's washed. There's nobody on that roster. There's nobody in that receiver room. There's nobody in that tight end room that, to me, scares anybody worth a damn in the AFC in a big spot on a third down when you need it. And that's what has failed this team. 2 years ago against the Chiefs, they were down in the red zone. Zay Flowers fumbled the rock. They couldn't punch it in. Last year, the offense against Buffalo was anemic. They couldn't get nothing going. They had King Henry. That was supposed to be the joker. It didn't work. And it's not because of him. They didn't run the ball. But if that's the case, if you're not going to run the ball with King Henry, you need someone to pass the ball to. Rashad Bateman's getting the most targets. How, Sway? Todd Monken wants his double tight end set. Mark Andrews is old. He had the big drop. I get it. I understand. But still, he wasn't giving you that much prior to that anyway. So to me, until they get an outside difference maker, it doesn't have to be Tyreek Hill, crazy track speed. It doesn't be just a real number. Why is it so difficult to find a legitimate number one wide receiver? I'm not even asking for an A.J. Brown. I'm not asking for a top 5 receiver in the league. Just give me a real number one. They can't even do that.
Yeah.
Every team we've talked about in terms of winning Super Bowls have had a number one. Outside of the Chiefs are an anomaly because they have an immortal quarterback. Outside of that, you're looking at teams that have had number one wide receivers and legit ones up and down the board. So that to me is like the old adage with QBs is you keep drafting the QB until you get one. To me, you got to keep drafting the wide receiver until you get one too.
Yeah.
I just don't know if this scouting department, if this training staff, if this organization knows how to draft wide receivers. They have drafted Rashad Bateman. They have drafted there was another one before Bateman. I used to be able to run them all down, and they were all mid, the middest of mid.
Hollywood Brown,
mid. Like, fuck it, we here. Let's just go ahead and do
very mid.
Ravens draft history.
Pop it in. I'd be curious to see.
All right, so we're looking at Tez Walker. Didn't show you much last year. Limited sample size, but he's not going to be a guy to beat a guy. Okay, Zay Flowers, flash but undersized. He's not a guy that can beat a guy when you really need it. They didn't even take one in 2024, but that was a Kyle Hamilton year. We'll let that slide. Bateman the year before that, and Tylan Wallace, who I've never heard of until today.
What?
Devin Duvernay.
Oh
Enough
yeah,
said.
Devin Duvernay.
Hollywood Brown. Miles Boykin.
Yes, Miles Boykin. Oh my goodness.
And then even the year they got Lamar. Jaleel Scott and Jordan Lashley, who I've never heard of until today. So again, you're telling me we struck gold by getting Lamar with the 32nd pick. And since then, you have surrounded him with what? Justice Hill, Miles Boykin, Hollywood Brown, James Proche, Devin Duvernay, J.K. Dobbins was Tylan Wallace.
When he was healthy.
Yes, when he was healthy. Rashad Bateman. And now Zay Flowers. And Tez Walker last year. That's a piss poor job of surrounding a franchise QB with weapons. That's a piss poor job. So while Burden might not be my pick, I wouldn't be happy with Luther Burden as a first round pick. But when you look at that draft history, it's like, y'all got to do something. If D-Hop can't be the answer, you're just running the Titans back from, we got King Henry, now we're bringing in D-Hop. Like, what are we doing? Piss poor.
Well, I will say this. Look, Luther Burden did not have that great of a season, as you kind of had pulled up earlier last year with Missouri. Everybody was bad for Missouri last year. But you go back and you look at his sophomore year, dude was a stud. 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. He was making big plays all over the place. Again, for a mid type of college football team in Missouri with nothing special at the quarterback position.
January 2026. Are you counting on Luther Burden to beat somebody off the line?
What?
In January of 2026. So assuming it's the second round this upcoming season. So the calendar turns to 2026. Are you counting on Luther Burden to beat somebody good off the line?
See, that's the problem. That's the problem with the draft right now and where the Ravens are. What other choice could they have made?
And
If you don't believe in Luther Burden, then okay, like let's go get some more help for the secondary because we can't do anything that's going to be as impactful on offense.
Well,
so
if you're trying to get rid of Mark Andrews, right? If Mark Andrews is really gone,
you've got Isaiah Likely who's ready to take over. No,
I mean, yeah, but Monken likes a 2 tight end set allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
So allegedly. I mean, if that's the case, just like the Bears went out there and got Loveland because Ben Johnson wants to put him and Kmet together. Like, okay, cool, sounds good, but let me see it. So if this is the case, I mean, I think there's some tight ends they could have gotten in the mix here. I don't know that much about Mason Taylor, but I know
he's Jason Taylor's son, so the bloodlines are good.
He had the acumen, so he had the pedigree. But Elijah Arroyo, I've watched a lot of, because of Cam Ward, I watched a lot of the U games. So, I mean, I like Arroyo.
Wasn't he the dude that was like 26?
Is he that old?
I think he was
22.
Okay. Not the guy that I was thinking. There was another guy that was on offense that was like 26 years old in Miami last year.
I know they had that receiver. Who's that receiver that everyone was? He broke a bunch of records. Oh, yeah, Restrepo. Is he 26?
No, Cam McCormick was the 26-year-old tight end.
Okay.
So I was in the right position group, wrong guy. By the way, you mentioned it. I am shocked that your former team with the Bears did not go with Tyler Warren at tight end. I'm a little surprised. That dude was an absolute playmaker. I figured Ben Johnson could have some fun with a guy like that.
Does he have some wiggle, though? Like, see, I thought the difference to me
he played running back sometimes. He threw the ball. Like, that seems like a Ben Johnson type player, dude.
Tyler, I mean, the tape I watched on him, it screamed Jason Witten. And I was like, I'm not taking that in the top 10. I'm not taking no Jason Witten clone in the top 10. Loveland, at least I saw a little shiftiness, a little yak. Like the thing that me and some of the folks at work was trying to like crunch tape on with Tyler Warren was, yo, this dude gets no yak. Like he's doing them 10-yard button hooks and that's it. And he's getting to it, and that's just what it is when it comes to him. So I don't know, man. I don't understand it from the standpoint of how teams try to break it down. Like we've seen the emergence of guys like McBride in Arizona, who I think is really emerging himself to be a top tier tight end in this league. I don't see that in Tyler Warren. I also don't really see it in Loveland either, but I think I see a little bit more of it out of Loveland than I do of Warren. So if we're trying to find, it's a copycat league. People want to find the next Trey McBride and all of that. So, okay, cool. Tyler Warren's not going to be a Trey McBride type. I think Colston Loveland has similar quasi skill sets or at least athleticism to McBride, but that's kind of I think where we're at with it. Tyler Warren is that traditional, to me, more of a possession type of tight end. You need 8 yards on 3rd and 8, he's going to get you 9. But also on 3rd and 10, he's going to get you 9. Like he's just not going to be able to break tackles. He's not going to be able to break free. I could be completely wrong, and I'll fall back and run it back. But to me, Loveland, if the Bears had to take a tight end, I'm not mad at them taking Loveland over Warren. It makes more sense because to me, I just didn't see the wiggle from Warren like I did from Loveland.
Yeah, Loveland's a great player regardless. I mean, it's hard to go wrong either way, and you could be right about that wiggle. I just saw more out of Tyler Warren in a better offense, and again, a guy that was able to do multiple things. Again, I figured that would be what Ben Johnson was looking for, a guy who can do a lot of different things, run his little trick plays, and do all those good things. But I don't mean to jump off with you, but the family just got here, so I got a boogie. They're coming to visit this weekend, so
all good. Hey man, enjoy that.
I appreciate it.
Give the family my love, and I got love for Papa G. So salute.
I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me hop on with you. It's been good talking to you, little
good,
NFL
brother.
draft, brother.
Appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Good luck.
Thank you. All right, so G is able to pull up. Salute to him for being able to pull up at the first place. Always appreciative of when he could tap in. All right, so where do we stand now? The Lions continue the trend. Trenches. Now, if anyone knows the trenches are back, it's Brad Holmes in Detroit, arguably the greatest in the biz at doing it right now. So the Lions continue the run on the trenches. This got to be roughly half. We've got to be at like almost 18. Like, let me see. Where's that NFL page that I had up? Okay. Let's refresh that. Do we need to refresh? No, it's live and direct. Okay. Buffalo goes DB. Commandos go offensive line. The Eagles, the pick is in. I'll try to catch up in the chat. Yeah, the Ravens and wide receivers do not get along. It's a really bad relationship. It's a horrible relationship. Yeah, Greg is the homie, man. He really looks out. He's been very influential in giving me a platform, coming on his ESPN radio show back in the day, working together at WFAN. Really cemented our friendship, and we've continued, working together on projects like mine and on his stuff. So yeah, Greg is the homie. He always looks out, always tries to promote my stuff when he can on his platform. So always appreciative when he could pull up. All right, let's see. Can we get the circle back now? I don't think we get the circle back. Okay, let's just do. Oh yeah, we customized it this way. This now has to become a circle, because we got to get on this page. There we go. Okay. All right. So let's do the trenches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17. It's over half. It's officially over half of the first round was dedicated to the trenches. Insane. Absolutely insane. Over half of the first round. And now we have Howie on the clock. Who does Howie like? Is Howie going to go with his own trend that he set and continue the trenches, or is he going to buck the trend and go different? Jahad Campbell is a Broad Street bully. That man is going to do wondrous things. Howie Roseman and the Eagles continue to stockpile elite defensive talent from the SEC. Jahad Campbell was a heat-seeking missile for the Tide. Eagles are picking Alabama linebacker Jahad Campbell. Nolan Smith and Jahad Campbell, that should be illegal. All right, Chiefs on the clock. Last pick of this first round. Would Andy Reid do something fun? Oh, they flip-flop for that. Okay. Okay. Huh. So Howie really wanted. Interesting. So Howie did make a deal. They said he was trying to trade up earlier. So he gives up, what's that, a fifth rounder? To move up one spot with the Chiefs. So he flip-flopped between the Chiefs. And so again, teams that just faced off in the Super Bowl, they make a trade, they make a deal, and they're able to flip-flop. They pick up an extra pick, the Chiefs that is, and the Eagles get their guy in Jahad Campbell. Howie doing Howie things. Respect the OG. The Chiefs are not trading out of 32, so Shador is not a first-round QB. It's official. The Chiefs are staying at 32, expecting offensive line help for Patrick Mahomes. Shador Sanders is not a first-round quarterback. But somehow Jackson Dart is. The Giants could have did the right thing. They could have did the smart thing, but instead they did the giant thing. And they go out there and they take Jackson Dart. And they move three picks just to, it just doesn't make sense. But that does mean job security for at least Shane. I don't know about Dayball. Dayball's still on the hot seat to me, but Shane is trying to get himself some leeway by drafting a rookie QB, and that will restart his clock, he thinks, with management, and they'll give him more grace because now he has a rookie QB. It's a smart tactic. Unfortunately, I feel he did it for the wrong QB, but Shador Sanders is not a first-round quarterback. Make of that what you will. But can the Browns walk away tomorrow, potentially walking away with Mason Graham and Shador Sanders? Because now, if we're looking at tomorrow, right? If we're looking at tomorrow's second round, second round, right? We know this Jacksonville pick is gone. This is now a Cleveland pick. Cleveland has the first pick of the second round, the first and the fourth pick of the second round. Vegas still needs a quarterback. Cleveland will have two opportunities to get a quarterback in the top of the second round. Could they walk away with Shador with one of these two picks? We know the Giants ain't going to do it now that they got Jackson Dart. And they had to give up this pick to get it. So they're not going to do that. Tennessee already took their quarterback. They're not going to do that. This could be really interesting tomorrow. Will the Browns do it? I scrub. I feel for you, bro. I feel for you. Like Patrick said earlier, pray for zero. It was a moment. We all shared that moment of, oh shit, the Giants might do it. They might take a black quarterback. They might take Shador. No, Jackson Dart. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. This is exactly why Mara should have fired both. And I'm really surprised. I know if both of the owners' fathers were still alive, I don't think Dayball and Shane would have survived last year. I think because it's the Suns and because they're trying to uphold this patriarchal thing of, we're one of the blue blood organizations and all that. Like they're drinking the Kool-Aid of what their fathers built. And unfortunately, much like we see stuff in the White House, these sons are not, they're not able to lead like their fathers. And it's really unfortunate. So I don't know what you do as a Giants fan. I really don't know what you do. Obviously, you just hope for the best. But I mean, at some point, you just kind of have to realize, like, the people that run this organization do not have you in mind when they're making decisions like these. And that's why fandom's a mental illness, because you're expecting a team to think of you when they keep showing you that they don't give a shit about you. And that's the unfortunate part. If the Raiders end up with Shador in round 2, I mean, that could be a thing. They got the 5th pick in the 2nd round. That's certainly a possibility. I don't know if Cleveland could pass on Shador 2 more times. They're going to have the 33rd and the 36th pick. I don't know if Cleveland could do that, man. If Cleveland does that, they better hit on both of those picks. Both of those picks better hit. Big facts. Giants are living in the past. Yeah, I guess you have to laugh. You have no choice. You have no choice but to laugh. All right, let's see. Did the Chiefs do what they were supposed to do and take a lineman? Yep, they took a lineman. Left tackle. So Mahomes gets what Mahomes needs, which is more offensive lineman help. And that concludes the 1st round. No Shador Sanders. That is the big storyline. The Jaguars made a big splash trading up from 5 to 2 to go get Travis Hunter. If we want to do a quick little recap, and then we'll sign off. Cam Ward 1, Travis Hunter 2 to the Jaguars, not to the Browns. Giants stay at 3 and take Abdul Carter. Pats go get Will Campbell. So let's talk about picks that we like that are not the obvious ones, right? Like in terms of fit. I love the Browns taking Mason Graham. I do. Even if he doesn't truly become a baby Aaron Donald, I like the thought process. Do I want to say I like the Cowboys going interior line? Because I'm trying to skip the obvious ones. Like, I think Genty's a good pick for the Raiders if that's an obvious one. Depending on what you feel about Tet to the Panthers, that could be one. But I like Booker to the Cowboys for that interior line. I love Emeka to the Bucks at 19. Will Johnson, also not a 1st round pick. Man, if the Browns could walk away with Shador and Will Johnson, Denzel Ward and Will Johnson, I like that in my back 4, but who am I? Just a dude on YouTube talking. I like Omarion to the Chargers. Jackson Dart is a Giant. That's too crazy. I like what the Falcons attempted to do. I just don't know if that's going to work, but I like the attempt. I like the thought process. They shocked us all by going with Penix last year. They shocked us all. And now they're kind of shocking us again this year by going dual edge rushers and trading up and giving up a future 1st to do so. And you heard what Greg Lerner came on here not that long ago, talking about how Pierce had #1 overall top talent just a year or so ago. Production didn't really pan out that way, but had the talent, had the scope to be that type of guy, to be on people's radar like that. And then you have to respect any time Howie trades up. When Howie trades up, he has devious intentions on his mind. He trades up 1 spot, flip-flops with the Chiefs, and goes get Jahad Campbell. Like that a lot. But I also like the Chiefs going out there and getting offensive line help. Shador Sanders, not a first round pick. Will Johnson, not a first round pick. Who else was in these mocks? The edge out of BC. I heard a lot about him earlier today. Not a first round pick. Interesting first round. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Script Zero, I expected BS from the Giants, but to give up extra picks for Dart, that's not the play. Yeah, I agree 100%. There's going to be a lot of explaining over the next couple of days. They're going to be, using the media fanboys to explain their thought process, but we know ball on this channel, and we know that was some bullshit that they pulled off tonight. Script Zero, I don't like any pick for the Cowboys, but seriously, it makes sense for them. Yeah, I mean, it was an obvious need. Even Jerry couldn't fuck that up. Obvious need. Script Zero, I understand the sentiment for the Falcons. I just wish they did give up a future first to get back in the mix. Yeah, that to me will be but again, I think because, again, a newer GM, so this is his second draft. He's shaking the table. He don't care about them picks. He saying, fuck them picks. Like, yeah, I'll give up a future first. I don't care. If I get the player that I know I want, I don't want that first round pick anyway, because it'll be in the 20s or the 30s. Patrick, even with them passing up Travis, the Browns are looking good so far. Yeah, I think if they can, it obviously depends on what they do with the 2 second-round picks. But if they're able to get with 33 and 36 now, 2 frontline starters, that's a dub. You have 3 out of the first 36 picks, and you get 3 starters out of it, and maybe 2 of the 3 are frontline starters. Oh yeah, that's a dub in the chat. Thank you, Patrick, for keeping me looped in on the NBA. OKC is still down, but they've cut that lead. They were down 20 last time we checked. They're down 8 heading into the fourth quarter, and the Clippers are destroying the Nuggets. Good Lord. 82-58. Hey, I'm telling you, I hope some of y'all put some bread up on Clippers to win that series. Don't do it now. The odds are trash now because they about to be up 2-1. Knicks tape get the dub. They up 2-1. Clippers about to be up 2-1. And Memphis is fighting for their lives to not be down 3-0. But they're only up 8 heading in. The fourth quarter just started. What's up with the Nuggets tonight? Jokic is only 10 shots for Jokic. 10, 8, and 9. That's not Jokic's production. Jamal Murray leading the way, but again, Michael Porter Jr. 2 for 7. They live and die with Michael Porter Jr., and the ownership group doesn't want to trade him. Meanwhile, the beaters out here with a 20-piece. Boardman is a conservative tonight, 14-9 with 4 dimes. He's so efficient. We're going to have a real conversation about him. That's why I said playoff Kawhi. I mean, this man is such. I might have to do a full vid on just what he does. As much as people clamor for the next Jordan, and I think I've mentioned this on the pod before, but in case I haven't done it here, or I haven't done it here in a while, as much as Kobe tried to be Jordan, as much as LeBron tries to fight the fact that he wants to be, or that he wants to have the same impact and notoriety like Jordan, the one player who I actually think reminds me of Jordan is Kawhi. From the defensive prowess to the game especially Kawhi, young Kawhi. Obviously, he didn't have bunnies like Jordan, but he had some of that. He had some of that skill set. It was there. And then post knee degenerative Kawhi, that's all 96 and on Jordan. Like he has basically taken the Jordan blueprint of I don't have the athleticism no more, so I'm just going to kill you with middies and post games. And now you add in the fact that he's proficient from three, and that's why he's such a 3-level scorer at this point in his career, even with a knee that is completely shot. He's special, man. Kawhi is so special. Clippers putting belt to ass to the Nuggets. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. I had the Clippers winning this series, but not like this. But I mean, I did say on the pod earlier today, I said this series could either go 7 or the Clippers could get them out of here in 5. It's starting to look like the Clippers might get them out of here in 5. Might be getting them out of here in 5. All right. First round is done. I'm going to go try to catch some of these games. I'm going to try to catch the end of this fourth quarter of OKC Memphis and then see if the Nuggets could put up a fight against the Clip Show. But yo, appreciate y'all for being in the chat. I appreciate you, Scrub Zero. I appreciate you, Patrick. Greg pulled up. T pulled up earlier. Zach pulled up, gave us some sound from Jacksonville, from the Jacksonville War Room. We got that on. Man, always appreciate y'all tapping in and being a part of my content. Looking to grow this thing and keep it going even more. But thank y'all for tapping in. We're going to be doing some recap stuff here. I don't know. I can't do a stream tomorrow, so I don't know if I can do something for Shador, or when Shador eventually gets drafted. But I'm going to be recapping it. So whenever that happens, likely it'll be either Sunday or Monday. Most likely Monday. And I'll spin the block and be able to do a full recap pod. I'm going to have a guest on, the homie Stephon Sheffield. Try to have him up here. He did a lot of good draft stuff with me last year, some NFL preview stuff with me last year. So we're going to try to get him on and do some good content there. Appreciate y'all as always, man. I'll tap in with y'all again real soon. Y'all have a good one.